You got to put your headsets on there, Greg, so that you can hear them counting us in, so that you know that we're starting and we're on the air and you don't say anything inappropriate with a hot mic on. Do you feel like you're ready now? You feel like you're ready to go?
Born ready.
He's in the 2-seat today. This is big.
Wow.
He's calling it the Zaz seat, and I don't know what kind of pressure he feels sitting in the Zaz seat.
Is that what it's called?
You called it that. I didn't call it that.
A seat.
You called it. You said you got up with a harumph from your seat.
Yeah.
What is your seat?
Right.
You got up and you said they want me in the Zaz seat.
Yeah. Well, that was a mistake. I should have said the number 2 seat.
Do you feel any extra pressure?
No.
Does the job feel any
No.
different to you in that seat?
I feel light. I feel like I'm floating on air.
You feel like Travis Hunter? You're lighter even though you're heavier?
Yes.
Where,
Exactly.
Where is Amin? Amin is
He
supposed
had
to be
travel
in
issues.
today.
I saw him documenting. It seemed like it was a pretty nightmarish travel situation over here, but he'll be here a little bit later.
Did he have an issue flying in this morning or flying in last night?
He tried to take the red eye, and there was issues there.
It seems to be not the best way to do this show after flying all night on a red eye and then just bombing in the middle of the show and trying to catch up. That seems like a group of ingredients that are not good to prepare the gumbo.
Especially when last week he was here mocking people for traveling early in the day, saying like, "Oh, you think you don't get like," and then he gets delayed on a later flight.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
I disagreed with that. Now, Amin is a very seasoned traveler. He has taken a million more flights than I have, but I always try to take the first flight out in the morning. I was in D.C. over the weekend, and I got burned with a midday flight. You do it in the morning because if there are delays, you still arrive reasonably early. I always try to take the first flights out. Those are the flights that I feel like I can depend on the most.
I was of the belief that it was a fact that the earliest flight of the day is the least likely to be delayed. I thought that was not an opinion. I didn't think that was a judgment.
I look for flights where the plane is in the gate overnight.
And Amin claimed last week that that's just when the suckers travel. It's not anything to do with avoiding delays, just that's when the suckers travel.
Well, we had a period of flying that had just a great deal of unrest in it and felt like systems failing throughout America where you couldn't rely on much of any flight to leave on time, where airports were jammed and everything else. And yet, leaving on the first flight every time, I've suffered no delays. I've had no experiences in the last 5 years that would suggest to me that there are any airport problems because I always fly out on the first flight.
Yeah, it's axiomatic because the first flight isn't waiting on a previous flight to get there.
Or to have to be cleaned and everything else as people scurry in and out.
Axiomatic, great word.
Thank you.
That's not two-chair behavior. That's a lexicon that two-chair is not used to.
That's actually an Edwin Pope word. That's a word that I learned from him, and I say it in homage to him.
Homage, also not a word that usually can be found in the 2-seat. Is that what we're going to get from the 2-seat today?
Yeah.
A bunch of vocabulary that we've never heard before? You should try to do that as a theme in the show. You should try to use as many words. Let's count them. Let's have a sound. Roy, see if you can find some sort of sound that would indicate, just like a little ding or something that would indicate and we won't even acknowledge it, just a little ding that acknowledges every time he uses a word in the Zaz seat that has never been used before from that seat.
An auditory device that is not acknowledging it.
Mike Ryan, Jonathan Zaslow, Greg Cody, Roy Bellamy, Jeremy Tache, Tony Colariu, Cody. Dan Le Batard.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mic's up. Cue.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show.
Greg, I have a number of different things here locally that we could start with. You tell me what you think is the most interesting. We've got a surprise extension of Mario Cristobal's contract that I don't think anybody sort of saw coming. There wasn't anybody reporting that there was a great need to re-sign or extend a coach who had many years left on his contract, although he probably deserves a raise. We've got Mike Ryan again frustrated with the Miami Heat. We've got Luis Suarez serving a 6-game suspension for biting someone when he was in his 20s. And we also have your son trying to figure out how to watch the Dolphins. He's trying to enjoy this season beyond just, scoreboard. And so he wants a way to watch the Dolphins. Which of those things would you like to start with? And also the Marlins made a bunch of moves.
But no big ones. I might start with the Marlins since it's trendy. I mean, it's topical. It just happened yesterday. They made 4 moves. I don't think any of the moves they made were particularly significant. I don't think they got enough for Liam Hicks actually in a trade in Bendix trading with his former team, because he is a catcher and catchers are pretty high demand position. So I didn't think they did well there, but I think I give the Marlins credit for the trade they didn't make, which is Otto Lopez. Boston wanted him really badly, but to their credit, the Marlins set the asking price so high that it would have taken a real windfall to get him. So I thought that was smart.
A toast to Jeremy Taché, who has been a really good info guy on this show when it comes to the Miami Marlins. He's been telling us all year Sandy wasn't going anywhere, steadfast in his resolve, and he ended up being right.
He ended up being right on most of everything, including them trading high on Hicks because they've got an answer there. They have somebody that they like better, and you know what Hicks is, and you're getting him having a season that is not likely to be recreated very much. And so it's exactly the way that this front office is going to make trades. They're not going to fall in love with Cabrera having one good pitching season and then slot him in at the number 2. They're going to trade him to the Cubs and then watch him get hurt because he just had his best season on their dime at value. But before we get to more of your thoughts here on them not doing anything, because I believe it's not the Otto Lopez not being traded that was exciting to me. It's Sandy not being traded that's exciting to me, because I thought all season that it was pretty obvious that they were going to trade him. The conversation during the offseason made it seem like they were almost sure to trade him. Jeremy, what did you make of what they did yesterday based on being around the team all the time?
This is exactly what Peter Bendix's front office is always going to do. I mentioned it yesterday, being positioned to be both buyers and sellers, right? And so, no, they didn't make a huge splashy buy. I would have loved if they could have added a controllable young starting pitcher because of the injuries that they've faced. It could have bolstered their playoff race as they head toward the wild card. But outside of that, everything they did made a lot of sense. Trading Liam Hicks, who is one of the best contact hitters in baseball. Like, if you look at all of the StatCast numbers, he hits the ball when it's thrown inside the strike zone. And he's been really effective for them all year. That fits that Tampa Bay Rays model. Chandler Simpson is another one of the guys right at the top. Luis Arias, who I thought the Rays might trade for, ends up going to the Phillies. Another one of those guys right at the top. But everyone looks at Liam on the surface and says, oh, he leads the Marlins in RBIs. Surely this is a power-hitting catcher. But he's played 101 games. In the first 51, he had 11 homers and 44 RBIs. His OPS was 843. In the next 50, 3 homers, 18 RBIs, OPS down to 752.
What the hell was that sound back there?
Trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, he's a
Good
really
trade.
good player. Like, Liam has turned into a really good player. But when you can acquire a guy straight from Double-A as a Rule 5 pick last year and turn him into this, which then gets you 3 prospects, a few of whom join your top 30, a couple of whom are former first-round picks, including one drafted in the first round in 2023 by Peter Bendix
What
himself,
did you think
you
of
feel good
Greg
about it.
Cody's analysis of them not getting very much? Because I thought they did do fine in getting something because catchers are valuable.
Yeah, fine is the right word. I don't think this was like a, oh my God, blockbuster home run of a deal because they acquired some superstar that you can't believe. I actually ironically felt that way about their Braxton Garrett trade with the Cubs because Braxton Garrett was not going to pitch for the Marlins again. They did not like the underlying metrics of him. They didn't feel like he threw enough strikes considering the stuff that he has. The couple times he came up this year, he was dreadful. And they acquired a guy in Jonathan Long from the Cubs who a lot of people wanted in that Edward Cabrera trade. He'll now be a guy who hits against lefties. This opened up the ability to play Owen Casey, Griffin Conine, and Kyle Stowers every day against righties without a redundancy of skill sets and acquires guys for the future.
I don't believe they got a top 15 prospect from Tampa, did they?
Who's the best?
16.
Number 17.
Who's the best Rule 5 player ever?
Dan Uggla?
Is it Dan Uggla? Is Dan Uggla the best Rule 5 player
Certainly
ever?
Marlins history.
He's the only Rule 5 player I could have named.
The Rule 5 appraisals are such that basically it's the entire sport telling you someone's not that good.
Jeremy's got a better one.
Yeah, I believe it's Johan Santana. Ironically, by the Marlins. He was then
Marlins.
traded to the Twins.
But for the record, just so you understand everything it is that just happened here, because I don't know that I agree with Jeremy, and I don't know how it is that you're arriving at you would have liked them to do something splashier. When Jeremy says, I would have liked for them to have another young
Splash.
arm under contractual control, their pitching's good. They're starting,
really good.
Their starting pitching is good. I mean, Meyer, Perez, Junk, and Sandy, maybe you want somebody better than that, but you've not just got good pitchers. You've got value. You've got pitchers that. Sandy's the only big contract there, so I'm not actually sure how much better you would have liked them to do. Was there somebody out there that someone else got that you wanted, that you thought would fit better with the Marlins? Because I didn't react to yesterday as anything other than, oh, that's smart, that's wise, and sure, I'd like a name player too, just like anybody else would, but it's not like they're missing any great thing. They missed out on any great thing.
Chris has a better one than Johan.
I see here, Johan, and I raise you a Roberto Clemente.
What?
Wow.
I didn't even know they had Rule 5 back then.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah, no, we ran the search, and there was an AI overview, but then we clicked the MLB.com link.
Wait a minute.
I said what I said.
Yeah. Hey, don't do
I
the
don't-
thing.
I
where
don't
we-
believe
number
you.
one.
I don't believe you.
Damn. It's early. Don't do the thing where we give you a great answer and you say it's not good enough.
I don't. It is good enough. It's too good is the
Too
problem.
good.
It's not that it's not good enough. It's that it's too good. I just said the Rule 5 draft is something that the entire league tells you someone can't play, and you counter me with Roberto Clemente.
There was racism back then.
Chris, look up for me when
And it's gone,
When
by
the
the way.
Rule 5
Yes.
draft.
No longer here.
When did that begin? Because I would have guessed. I simply would have guessed that the Rule 5 draft was something that didn't even start until the 80s.
I've got here Christy Mathewson, selected by the Cincinnati Reds from the Norfolk Phenoms in the 1900 Rule 5 draft.
Wow.
We are dialed back here today.
That's a Clemente challenger. Christy
It is.
Mathewson?
Didn't he win? How many games did he win? How many games did
Greg, you were there.
I was there. Christy Mathewson used to pitch 550 innings a season back then. Everybody started 45 games and completed 38.
Career 373 wins and a 2.13 career ERA.
Woo! Okay, so I'm very wrong on what the Rule 5 draft is historically, but I'm promising you that I thought the Rule 5 draft was something that existed only the last 40 years. I did not think it was something that was 100 years old.
To your credit, it has evolved a lot. Like the Rule 5 draft in the 50s when Roberto, it was more common for a better player. Like nowadays with the evolution of the rule, like good players aren't really being moved as much.
This may be a dumb question. Is there a Rule 4?
It is a dumb question. You're right.
Great. Brilliant question.
Prior to its current incarnation from 1959 until the creation of the annual amateur Rule 4 draft in 1965,
All right, let's push
top
it.
first-year prospects of teams were exposed to the Rule 5 draft.
What's Rule 3?
Shit.
You have a cough button in the Zaz seat if you
I
want to
do?
use it, Greg.
In the number 2 seat?
You
Where
Don't
is
hold
that?
your left arm like that.
You could also turn off your microphone
thing,
at
hang
any
on.
point.
Can you hear me now?
No, we
Oh,
can't
good.
hear you when
Perfect.
you press the cough
Hey,
button.
let me try that again. Perfect. All right, done. Noted. That's not me doing that.
What did you want them to do yesterday?
I wanted them to get like a big right-handed bat, like a powerful add to the offense. I don't know who that would have been. That's Bendix's job, not mine. But I thought they did fine. Look, I didn't mind them trading Liam Hicks because they have Joe Mack. And by the way, Joe Mack is one of the top 10 catcher names of all time. It's the perfect name for a catcher.
What's your list look like?
Let's do this. At Le Batard Show, is Joe Mack one of the top 10 catcher names of
Great.
all time?
Might be top 5.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to open the bidding with Yogi Berra.
Mack Truck. Joe Mack Truck.
That's not a...
A Mack Truck signifies what you want in a catcher.
Make your top 5
Make
catcher
your-
names of
yeah,
all time.
come on.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So when you wanted a bat, you wanted like Luis Garcia. That would have been good. You wanted them to steal. Like I would have. Sure. You give me an ideal. I would have liked Skubal for the last couple of months of the season. Sure. Let me go into a series with Sandy and Skubal in my rotation and see if I can knock off.
Yeah. Okay. Way to be fanciful. Look. We all agree they didn't need starting pitching. They do need another big bat, unless I'm alone on that. But I thought they did fine. They made 4 small deals, and if you look at the 4 deals they made, you'd be hard-pressed to decide whether that meant they were selling or buying, because I don't think they got anybody in return that's an immediate fix. But I'm glad they weren't sellers, and you never know with the Marlins, because, one of my problems with the Marlins is that they're building toward a future that never seems to get here. They're always recycling toward younger, cheaper players. In this case, they keep Otto Lopez, which I thought was major, because I was totally prepared for the Marlins to give up Otto Lopez in fear of the contract he may get someday for a bunch of prospects. I'm glad they didn't.
You tell me whether you feel like yesterday was this for the Marlins. You wanted them to go out and get a big purchase like an automobile, and all they did was, because Bendix enjoys doing this, is go to the grocery store on a day that their fridge was already fine and they didn't have to be at the grocery store. So they just went milling about and they returned a couple of things and they got a couple of things, but they weren't big players. They were just enjoying the browsing, the shopping, the activity.
Dangerous game. You always end up wasting money that way.
Don't you guys ever end up at the grocery store on days?
Yeah.
You can't go to the grocery store when you're hungry. I think it's best to go to the grocery store on the day that you don't really need very much.
to kill time, do a nice little graze. You know how that ends? It ends with like sun-dried tomato hummus in the back of your refrigerator for 6 months.
Yeah. And you don't remember it's there. And then you have a bite, and it's awful, and then you throw it out. They traded ground beef for ham. There wasn't any sirloin here, no lobster being traded, but that was fine.
Put it on the poll. Did the Marlins trade ground beef for ham? Which is the better of those two? Like, are they the same? Like,
For me, ground beef is great. I love ground beef. I'm a man of the people. I'm a small private individual. But I'm
Very
not.
versatile ground beef.
Ground beef is very versatile.
Pasta,
I'm not-
burgers, picadillo.
Yeah, I'm not a huge ham fan, quite frankly. You tell me I can't eat ham for 2 years, I'm like, fine.
I'm asking you, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you fine if they tell you can't eat ham for 2 years?
If I had a hammer.
That's 2-seat behavior right there.
If I had a hammer is
Yeah.
the song you're singing
I
about.
said ham. It needed to be said.
Oh, really? You think I didn't get the joke that you were making? You think it was so sophisticated that I missed that you had turned ham into hammer?
Right.
Please answer my original question. Anybody here, answer my original question. When he makes the analogy and he says it's trading ground beef for ham, is he saying that I'm trading things that are worth the same for each other? Or is he saying that ground beef is worth more than ham? Or is he saying that ham is worth more than ground beef?
Well, he's trying to say it's pretty much the same thing, but then our show did its thing and started parsing ground beef and its versatility.
I think they're comparable. And I think yesterday what we saw is the Marlins are trading 1.5 pounds of ground beef and getting 3/4 of a pound of ham. because one team sees ham as superior, the other has a need for ground beef. So that's the way that works.
And some teams are Jewish.
Yeah, that's right. All in all, I think that it was an okay day for the Marlins. If you're a Marlins fan, Jeremy, I'm going to use you here because
Please.
you're part journalist and part fan.
That's right.
When it comes to
Yeah.
the Marlins. Okay, that's fair. Is it a day that makes you disappointed or excited, or is it just a day in between yesterday?
It's a day where they're smart.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when your front office feels like it knows what it's doing. Look, if you want to be oh my God, I'm so excited they added all of this stuff for the playoff run. That's not what yesterday was. They potentially evened out what their lineup looks like. You would anticipate that against right-handed pitching, Owen Casey, Kyle Stowers, Griffin Conine going to be better for the rest of the season in terms of producing power than Liam Hicks was. But he also was their leadoff hitter. Like, you're disappointed that a guy who had a really strong start to the season and helped you get off to the start that you saw at the beginning of April is no longer there. If you're watching sort of casually, you hear, oh, wait, I thought that guy had a really great start. He did. He was a piece of what they were doing. What they added helps not only for the short term potentially in adding a guy in Jonathan Long who has an 860 OPS at AAA against lefties, so evens out what you're doing, a team that's struggled mightily all year against left-handed starting pitching, but you also get better for the future, and that's what this team is always going to have to do.
Greg, you owe 2 fines now for your computer doing that twice during the segment. That's $10 you owe.
You only mentioned one though, so I owe 5.
Well,
right?
but you know what happened earlier as well,
That's
right?
the first time I heard it. I immediately jumped into action.
No, you did immediately jump into action too late after it had happened twice. Chris, do me a favor, check in with the chat and get them to give you the names of athletes, please, that most connote ham throughout history. Athlete names who most connote ham.
You'll be happy to know they've already beat you to it.
That's fine. I knew they would.
Ham Newton.
There we go. I want you to play that game for a little while.
I got a good
You
one.
usually don't start with the puns, though. Usually you go.
Yeah, well, they were right all over Darvin Ham. I think the game's over.
Yeah, Mia Ham.
Outside of Jack.
Josh Willingham. But then you can go with the puns. Then after that, you can go Ham Newton. But the other question I want to ask you.
Jack Ham.
Yeah, we've
Steve
closed,
Martin.
We've closed the ham category. We already did that.
Okay.
Josh Hamilton.
If I had a hammer.
You've already sung that.
I know, but now I stated it.
All right, let's move on to ground beef names.
The thing that I wanted to do is outside of filet mignon and the higher echelon steaks, I want to see what this meat trade sounds like. If I were to say to you, you traded ground beef, but you got back bacon, you would clearly say, you got the better deal because you got back bacon, right? You love bacon more than ground beef. If we're talking about non-elite meats, what is the one you value the most receiving it in a trade? If you have ground beef and you're trading for a non-elite meat, is there anything better than bacon that you're trading for?
Oh, wow. Well, it better not be Canadian bacon, which shouldn't even call itself bacon.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, because it's not bacon. Come on, when you think of bacon, you think of what's the love of my life, which is the classic strip of bacon that you hold and it's straight. It's not droopy because it's been cooked perfectly. You don't, and then you have a Canadian bacon. It's not even bacon. Canadian bacon is the round little piece of ham. It's Canadian ham is what it is. I don't know why they call it Canadian
Put it
bacon.
on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should Canadian bacon even call itself bacon?
Denny Hamlin.
You know what's underrated is the pork shoulder, the Boston butt. I think that's...
You've said this before. You said you like butt.
Oh, I eat butt all the time. Everybody knows that. You got to cook it low and slow. That's the problem. You're going to invest 5 or 6 hours of a day, maybe longer, to cook the butt properly. But it's a great, inexpensive cut of meat. You can buy a 6-pound Boston butt for $12, $15.
Let me do this. Mike Ryan, I have bacon. You have chicharron. Are you willing to trade with me?
I mean, they're all derivative of the same thing, right?
Well, no, but I'm asking you. I'm not
No,
asking
I
you
love
for,
chicharron. I'm not I'm not trading chicharron.
So
for
what do I
anything.
need to have in order to get you to trade chicharron? Like, what do I need to have for
Well,
you
Dan,
to
I don't know
want?
if you listen to the internet, but somewhere around 2020, I began being Hispanic. And I made chicharron my identity way back then. Now, I was white the entire time. But in 2020, I decided I was going to be Cuban. And then I became a chicharron guy.
Congrats.
Not an answer to my question. And
Not
you-
many things that I traded for. I love steak. I'm a red-blooded American, except for when I became Cuban in 2020. But I love steak.
Yeah, but there's all different kinds. You know, like I love a ribeye, not so much a New York strip. You know, I mean, there's a lot of. I love a filet mignon, a ribeye, but not some of the other cuts of meat. I don't love. Picanha is a cut of steak Christopher loves. I don't love it as much.
Brazilian steakhouse, picanha, salty.
So that's
elite meat.
Yeah, well, elite meat. There aren't many elite meats, and ground beef and ham are not two of them. That's
Mike,
for sure.
you have chicharron. I've got churrasco. Are you trading with me? Yes
Both
or no?
are Hispanic and both played my identity since 2020. So
I
that's a
got
play
that.
on.
But you didn't answer my question. You continue to answer your own questions and give your own answers, but you're not answering my
Glad
questions.
he admitted it finally.
Bistec empanizado. I don't think I'm trading anything for
I actually
bistec.
have some of that in the fridge.
That's the good stuff right
I don't
there.
think I'm trading anything for bistec
But it is a
empanizado.
cheap piece of meat.
It is. That's correct. It's not an expense. But this is where we started when he's like ground beef for ham, and I thought he was going to go Spam, the cheapest of the meats, right? That if you're talking about Rule 5 draft, worst of the players, like it's worst of the hams is Spam, right? Worst of the meats is Spam. Put it on the poll. Is Spam a Rule 5 meat? Because I think that's universally considered the worst of the meats.
Yeah.
Is it not?
It is by reputation, but I think Spam gets a bad rap. I think if you cut Spam the right way and cook it the right way, it's beautiful. It's like ham, but incredibly even saltier. I don't mind Spam, quite frankly. Had it a couple of weeks ago for lunch.
Wow, you're really holding back that belch there.
Still
huh?
burping it up.
Yeah, and you're right. You do belch after Spam. I don't want to eat a can of sardines. If we're going
We're not
lowest,
doing
lowest
that.
rung of protein,
But that's not a meat.
it's a fish.
It's not a meat.
Okay, you don't
It's
think
a
a fish is meat?
Fish is meat.
It is.
Got you on
That's,
that one.
that's not the category we're not doing.
So we're only doing red meat.
We're
what
not,
about
we're not
chicken?
doing organ meat,
Chicken?
right? Not liver, not chitlins or anything like
You know
that.
about the chicken?
Awful.
We're not doing chicken and fish. I thought I was clearly doing meats. I thought I wasn't
Those are
doing
meats.
I wasn't doing proteins.
See, that went right past everybody. Okay, and that I should get credit for using an unusual word correctly. Nobody understood what I said because when you were talking about organ meat, I said awful. And it's both AWFUL and the word awful, OFFAL, which is a word that encompasses organ meat like liver, like heart. Nellie Doogie used to eat heart all the time, as an example. It was awful.
I'm sorry, but chicken is not meat. I mean, you're only talking about beef and pork. So chicken muscle is not meat
Chicken is
to you.
famously
It's
meat.
very obviously meat.
Of course it is.
Guys, I was doing because he traded ground beef for ham.
Right.
I
Good
was not
trade.
doing sardines. How which part? do you,
I'll trade ham for
like,
turkey.
You guys,
Trade that helps both sides.
I'm not doing.
I appreciate your level of indignance here.
I am not doing chicken. I'm not doing
I
fish.
thought we were just hanging out.
I'm not doing turkey. I'm clearly doing red meat. It seems obvious that everything we were doing, I think everyone listening to this, when the starting point was
Wait, do you think pork is red meat? It's famously the other white meat.
Yeah. Salmon is actually reddish.
Look, you want to come
Pink.
at me guns hot? I'm going to call you out on your BS.
Tuna.
No, I'm not doing tuna. I'm not doing tuna steaks in here. This is not. This
It is a reddish meat,
it is a
this-
reddish
but
meat.
it's classified as a white meat.
the fact is, okay, this is a fact, what I'm about to say here, and I'm going to say it indignantly. Everyone listening to this, although they may not have expected this to end up in a conversation or an argument or any kind of indignance that jumped from ground beef being traded for ham, that conversation can't meander over to sardines as a meat. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. That's not, however it is that we get there, it can't be. It's just not allowed. It's not allowed to be where we go from trading meats for each other and talking about the most valuable of the meats and ending up at a can of sardines.
So anchovies are not doing anything for you.
Correct.
You know, Big Dog was at the IPF today.
It ain't birds. It ain't fish. It's the big cattle. It's the stuff that's got to be taken from the big boys. Not any of the, in a can, tiny fish. Not tiny fish in a can. We were not talking about tiny fish in a can. We went from ground beef and ham to bacon, and that's the family of stuff we were in. And I'm telling you, if a cow's there and it's looking at sardines, he's like, you're not from the same family as me. And he's looking the same way at turkeys, and he's looking the same way at spam, frankly. But I'm allowing it because it's the worst and the cheapest of the meats. That was the lowest. You can't go from spam to sardines.
I would. We were talking about marlins earlier. I mean, that's a meat. That's a fish. I think fish is a meat. Come on, it's a protein. You cut it with a knife if you want to.
Cole Hamels.
Mario Cristobal gets an extension that I thought was out of nowhere. Did you think it was out of nowhere?
Well, he's in the middle of a 10-year contract. I don't think it's unheard of that you would extend a guy with 5 years left. He's still a young man. He's a Canes lifer, and they want to make sure that he is. And he's had an arc. He's gotten better. His teams have gotten better every year. And if they continue that arc, they will win the championship. I think he has that much faith in himself, in his program, and I think has that much faith in him. I think it's well earned, the contract extension. I'm glad he got it.
It's the right thing to do. I'm just not used to corporations, when they have something at value, just doing the right thing. Like, there's no risk of losing him.
Well, in that industry, they always market correct. It wasn't a surprise at all. You can't have Eli Drinkwitz making more money than Mario Cristobal. So that's just a market correction that anybody could have seen coming. It's not about risking losing Mario Cristobal. It's not about keeping him until the end of his term. No one does that in certainly college head coaching. It's about making sure Mario Cristobal gets his fair market value.
When I say, I'm sorry, Greg,
okay.
when I say that it came out of nowhere, no one was reporting that they were in negotiations. No one was reporting that there was an extension in play.
I'm sorry that it was a well-known thing that this was bound to happen.
I'm not saying that it wasn't a well-known thing. There is no urgency to do this, just like there wasn't an urgency to originally give him a 10-year contract. Like, that was something that was super unusual given the place that they were in, to extend to him a 10-year contract and then extend it again when he's not even halfway through it. Like, it
was not easy getting him from Oregon. The 10-year contract was necessary. The deal was necessary. Like, he was very close with Phil Knight. It's still a premier job. It was hard to get him to come to Miami because he needed to know that Miami was going to be right enough. He's certainly the right guy. The question for Mario Cristobal was this the right time? And I'm glad he decided, because it's a home run hire. I think it's probably already a top 5 coaching hire in the history of the South Florida market when you consider where we were to where we already are, which is not all the way back, but pretty damn close.
And when you consider what he's accomplished and the recruiting he does and the portal that he wins every single year, especially at the most important position, $8 million a year seemed super expensive only 5 years ago. 10 years, $80 million seemed like a lot to get Mario Cristobal to come home. 5 years later, it seems like a bargain. So when you talk about market correction, I think that's the entirety of the timing of this. Is realizes, man, we're getting this guy on the cheap.
And one of the benefits of being a private institution is you don't have to disclose what he's making, and I think the plan is to keep that number internal. I imagine a lot of that salary is going to go back into the program. Because Mario Cristobal is a Canes lifer. He's not going to go anywhere. This is all about market correction.
My point is, I'm not used to anything in corporations or in sports, when they have something at value, doing something just because it's the right thing to do, because there is zero risk of losing him. All the other market corrections are because you're afraid of losing the coach. In fact, I would say that among major programs, this is the program where they're least likely to lose the coach for any reason because of his allegiances to the sport. And while I think it is the good thing and the right thing to do, I'm still surprised that before they have to do it, they're doing it just because it's the right thing. That's not normally the way corporations do things when they have someone at value.
Not the corporate world, though. College head coaching. I mean, I think Nick Saban had a contract provision famously that anytime someone became the highest paid head coach, he automatically became the highest paid head coach. Kalen DeBoer got $12.5 million over the summer.
I'm under no confusion about that, but Nick Saban was always a risk to fly.
No, but why? Yeah, but what you're saying is like be a dick and hold it over him just because he's got 5 years left on his contract. Why rock the boat that way?
Whoa, who in our audience has 5 years guaranteed and thinks that you're holding anything over somebody when you've got 5 years left on a contract?
I 5 years left on a contract, and I got to watch Eli Drinkwitz make more money than me. Like that's just not how this goes. And it's such an incestuous business. Like the agents represent so many people. They represent assistants. They represent administrators. You don't rock the boat with the agent either.
I think this is just a guarantee that Mario is a lifer at the U. Had they not done this, and 5 years from now, he's won a championship, and all of a sudden the bigger programs than Miami, and there aren't many, but there are a few, are coming after him with, in what 5 years is a $30 million a year offer or whatever. I think this is a show of goodwill by the university that just ensures the guy who wants to be a lifer is going to be a lifer.
The thing that he brings that is the most valuable thing is that he gets the players. There is nothing more valuable than that. The amount of five-star recruits that he has gotten is extraordinary, and he has rebuilt the program, and he deserves a raise, and he deserves to be paid like some of his best contemporaries because of how valuable all of that is. But you don't rock the boat with the agent. Like, Miami's back, and if Miami wanted to be assholes about being back, they wouldn't care very much about what an agent thinks about much of anything when you have a person who, because of his love, is not someone who has any leverage because he's not actually leaving. And everyone knows he's not actually leaving. So to have everyone do the right thing just because it's the right thing, color me still surprised after seeing the World Cup trying to be sold seconds after it expired, because I always expect the people with the money to do the wrong thing, to do the cheap thing, to do the thing that keeps the money for themselves instead of sharing the money. So I will remain surprised about the fact that this was not a flight risk of any kind and they just did the right thing just because it was the right thing.
If I was going to go down a hypothetical, because I'm with you, no one expects Mario Cristobal to ever leave, but if I was going to go down a hypothetical of what would make him leave, it would be being disrespected with contracts after all this success,
100%.
And we're not going to give you raises that every other coach would get.
100%.
Okay, but you guys say this, but hold on a second, okay? Because a 10-year contract is a fairly amazing thing when the 10 years are all guaranteed. And the other thing that I would say about that I don't think is totally irrelevant, disrespect. Like, what the hell are you guys talking about? He signed a contract, and if he had done poorly, they weren't going to cut his salary.
But they could have fired
him.
him.
Yeah, but he was going to get his money. They could have fired him, and he has to get all 10 years. Like, what are you talking
Got us to
about?
the national championship game.
I don't know what this is.
Disrespect? You guys,
you want to like weaponize his loyalty?
If he has 4 seasons in a row that are getting better and better every year, and then he comes to like, hey, let me get a little bit more money, and they're like, no, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, and also I do think that there's cold-hearted corporations out there that'll be like, no, we got him at value, we got him locked up in 5 years. But typically, if you outperform your contract in many walks of life, they don't hold your loyalty against you. You can go back and say, hey, the comp, Kalen DeBoer, is making, 1.5 times what I'm making. That isn't right. And you can work stuff out. and he's got good relationships with people. You're absolutely right. What he brings to the table is talent acquisition. That is an A1 skill. It's elite. It's probably the best in the nation. But he also was a huge culture change. And that culture, that rigidity, getting the right guys in the room, and learning from his mistakes, like those are all really good assets that he has too. And this was going to happen. It was going to happen the second he got to the CFP. It only probably became more expensive with each win, an incredible run in the CFP. But yeah, Mario's a friggin' man, and he deserves to get paid, and nobody disagrees with it.
I would put it in the most simple term possible, which is Mario Cristobal earned a raise, deserved a raise. That's it. And the university saw that. And there was no need to make it contentious by having him spend another 5 years making $8 million and seeing more and more and more less qualified coaches getting a lot more money than he's stuck at. And I don't want to make it sound like $8 million a year.
You guys are making it sound like that when you say weaponizing his loyalty, disrespect. Like what you guys are making it sound like at every turn is that it's some sort of affront to merely guarantee him the next 5 years.
No, it's an affront to have Eli Drinkowitz make $2 million more than you annually.
Right, exactly. Skubal is going to demand $400 million from the Dodgers. I mean, times change. You got to keep up with the rate, the going rate.
So we feel good about the Marlins trades, or? Two more shots on goal.
I'm going to add an...
He is winded.
Hold on, Greg. Hold on.
Hands on knees. Here's a kick.
First
wide.
That's on you, though, Dan.
Yeah,
you
Dan,
can't tell him to hold on
distracted
to the
him.
back of his
You're talking in his
rusty gate.
backswing.
All right, I'll give him another one. He's still on number 8 because I distracted him there. But the reason I was telling him to hold on is because I think, and Chris, you tell me, because I don't know what human resources would say about this cruelty. I think we stay here until he makes one.
I'm worried about his.
He'll die.
No, he's
Worried
looking
about
rough.
his wind.
He's looking rough.
Pretty
No,
winded.
but I want to see if he's like 0 for 99. Like I want to see them get slower and slower over time, and I want to see. Him. Yes, go ahead.
Here's kick number 9. And
He didn't even use his
it
hand.
was blocked by the feet of the goalie who jumped in the air.
Wouldn't you?
He jumped in the air and just blocked it
And
with
that
his feet.
is why they call him the Pink Panther.
I came for the 60 Minutes thing, literally, and it was awesome. But I stuck around for the thoughts on the Odyssey.
Okay, the episode is titled, it's a couple days ago, if you want to go back wherever you get your podcasts. Over the last couple days, something interesting and funny has happened
You were talking about good numbers.
where I have realized that Mike, and Dan for that matter, okay, because I got this from Dan as well 2 days ago. I am realizing Mike and Dan are listening to Zaslow Show 2.0 for the very first time.
No, I listen. I listen to Zaslow Show 2.0 whenever I guest on it. I love the sound of my own voice.
So that's what I've realized because I got a call from Dan a couple days ago. And he loved it. He listened to the whole episode.
Shirtless FaceTime in bed.
And I don't expect him to listen to the whole episode. All right, like episodes are about 45 minutes. I don't expect him to listen to the whole episode, but he clearly sat there, maybe it was in his car, maybe it was shirtless in bed, I don't know, and listened to the whole episode. And he loved it and said such nice things. I'm like, that's awesome. And it's also very clearly the first time he's ever heard the show.
Yeah, I've listened to it like 7 times because I've been on it 6. Yeah. So I like the Zaslow Show 2.0.
You enjoyed it a couple days ago.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think I've heard like ones here and there. Like when we made the finals in hockey and in basketball, I'm like, yeah, let me listen to a caretaker of South Florida
That's
sports
right.
and do his character bit. I love it. I'm a huge fan.
It's not a character.
Yeah, it is. You do. Come on, you have a bit. You're amplified like The Rock. Wow. Any hoodles. I stuck around for the thoughts on the Odyssey, which
Right,
I thought I got them all.
You loved my thoughts on the
Yeah,
Odyssey.
well, we get off to a real hot start. Because the way that you start
See, I have a hard time remembering. I wish I could remember exactly
Here's
what I'm
how
saying.
it started. Tony, who doesn't know his elbow from his asshole.
What?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's true. It's just,
Catching a stray on a podcast? You can at least invite me on and tell me.
if anybody knows two things about me, number one, I'm not a cuck, and number two, I always tell the truth. Even when I lie, I always tell the truth.
Tony, who doesn't know his elbow from his asshole.
What was the context there?
I don't know. I do 3 different shows. I do this show, I do Zaslow Show 2.0, and I do ESPN Radio. I can't keep track of
And
what
Mystery
I said on
Crate.
each. And 4. And Mystery Crate.
But the Bolivian cut is Zaslow Show 2.0.
yes.
That is the Zaz talking
do
to
what I
nobody
want.
else, which is why he's developed. It's become his personality. The reason why he creates all these different voices, and he's having a conversation with himself.
Yeah.
And so he has like these really eccentric parts of his personality that are essentially a cast. Yeah. It's a one-man ensemble. It's great. I'm a big fan. And when you said Tony doesn't know his elbow from his asshole, I'm like, all right, I'm in. But then you started going down your review of the Odyssey, and I was familiar
What
with
a
some
movie.
of the takes.
What a movie.
But then I found out you were a racist.
What?
Yeah, you were a racist.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I appreciate Mike Ryan's rhetorical trickery hitting me again and again in the face with the name Eli Drinkwitz, which really does underestimate what's happened at Missouri, because I think going 11-3 and 10-2 at Missouri is and getting to the top of the SEC is harder to do than what's been done at Miami by others and has never been done by Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. But I do appreciate what it is that you did with that. The thing I wanted to ask you guys is when it comes to the Marlins and Jeff Conine in the stands watching his son Griffin hit home runs for the team, what else like that has South Florida ever had? Something quite like that, where you've got somebody whose nickname is Mr. Marlin, who's in the stands watching his son hit home runs for the same team that he played for. Throughout the history of South Florida sports, what are some examples that you can give me of anything that feels that kind of heartwarming?
I think the best example we're about to see with Tim Hardaway in the stands watching Tim Jr. I think that's about to happen, and I would put that on a par, because Tim Hardaway is to that club what Jeff Conine was, if not more. When I think way back, I recall, and this didn't get a lot of attention, but Brian Griese was the Dolphins quarterback for a minute, and Bob Griese's a Hall of Famer. So those examples come immediately to mind.
Greg Cody writing exclusively that his son has been let go at ESPN.
Wouldn't have thought of that one, but it's not a bad one.
Got you a lot of clicks.
It did, yeah. God, he ought to be fired more often. No, I take that back.
I mean, got close with that LeBron report.
Amin has arrived. Amin, how do you feel about your contention now that the earliest flight is not the best flight, when I thought statistically, mathematically, empirically that absolutely the earliest flight every day is the least likely to be delayed?
Okay, so we talked about this last week, and apparently a lot of people are incapable of understanding the nuance of, even the worst thing has some good points about it. So yes, the early morning flight does not typically get delayed because it's the first flight out. You don't have to deal with the ripple effects of all the other delays. Having said that, no one heard what my complaint was, which is early morning flight bring out the rookies. All the people are like, I've got to get there first thing. Like, that's what happened. I flew this morning, 5:30 a.m. to come here down from New York. And guess what I found? I found a zoo of rookies, families, and old people, and people who have not traveled since 9/11 happened. So like, what do you mean I have to take my thing? I'm like, come on, people. And my flight, my specific flight, Dan, 15 wheelchairs, 1-5. I ask you this, you think any of those people would have taken a red-eye flight? Hell no.
It's been 25 years. I think it's time.
Greg, you just said moments ago something that I've heard you say most of the time that I've known you. I'm just a small, private individual.
Right.
Yeah, is that on your catchphrase list? Because I have not heard it yet in your 50, and I think it's an omission because I'm guessing it's probably not in your top 15 either. And I've heard you use that for a long, long time. Is it another one that you have forgotten? Just admit yes or no. Just give me some honesty. Is this or is this not on your list? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Did you forget it? Yes or no?
It has been mentioned. I think it just didn't make the cut.
That's the second one today that we've discovered that he's overlooked.
That's
Chris,
true.
he's lying to me right
That's
now.
a skeptical Dan Le Batard
I mean,
post.
that's a
I
lie.
can see it.
Chris, that's a lie. Yeah, the Little League theory is better than that. No, there are 50 on that list, not as good as I'm just a small private individual. Like, you forgot it. I need you to admit it.
I did not forget it. It was considered. It was brought before the board.
It was,
and it did not
Chris,
quite.
is he
make,
telling the
I
truth?
don't remember seeing that one. There are a lot that have made that we've thought of and that are on the cutting room floor, but I don't remember that one. To Dan's point,
Are you ready to update the list of catchphrases because
Yes.
it doesn't? You are ready?
Yeah, and by the way, I will defend at all cost the Little League theory. Okay, don't besmirch the Little League theory.
All right, I'm going to write down right now, when you give this list, I'm going to write down all the ones that I believe to be worse than I'm just a small private
Okay,
individual.
You can't write that fast.
Let's go. Let's test me. Let's go ahead and test me.
All right.
Tessie today, Dan.
He really is very combative.
Literally,
Nothing's good enough for you
let's
today.
test it.
All right.
Well, he's just lying. He's just lying.
I'm not
He's
a
lying.
liar.
And sardines don't belong in the conversation that we were having about ground beef being
Wait,
traded
it's versatile.
for
You don't
ham.
get Caesar salad without it.
No, I've eaten sardines my whole life. I love the little key they have to roll back the metal can. I used to buy sardines just because of the can.
I'm on, like, strangely, that algorithm where I see old sardine cans being opened.
Yeah, isn't it great?
It is.
It is great.
It is great.
it can't
Cody.
be great.
There's something soothing about it, right?
Yeah, the one
Greg,
thing I
the-
don't like about that though is the sound. That
I like the whole
sound of
experience.
metal breaking from metal.
Honestly, the sound boosts your argument here because sardines are an entire experience
Yeah,
where
it
filet
is.
mignon may not be.
Yeah, no, that's very true. What's the word for getting off on the sound of food? ASWM or something? Or
Oh,
no, no.
ASMR.
Getting off on the sound of food,
No, ASWM or what's it called? Awesome?
ASMR.
ASMR.
listening to people eat,
Yeah, right. I'm into
getting off on it.
that.
Yeah, no, it's a whole thing.
We used to say that.
I got
That was
many
a
people
phrase.
come up to me and say, like, that thing that you did with Sam Van Gundy, I jerked off to it.
I'm a sucker for listening to people eat, but I've never gotten off to it.
Okay.
I mean, all right, so much to cover here.
Okay.
So it's not getting off to the sound of food. I don't even know what the sound of
Oh,
food
no,
is.
there are people that do.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah, that's what I was going
It's
for.
the lip smacking.
No,
though.
there's a whole, like, seedy underbelly of ASMR, which is just, people cranking it.
It's strange noises. It's not the sound of food. I still don't know what the sound of food is. What's the sound of food?
It's the sexual fetish no one talks about.
What is the sound of food? Describe to me the sound of food. Is that what you're describing? The sound of chewing? The sound of...
Oh, there's crunch.
And also it's, that's good.
My dick just jumped.
I saw it.
In Dan's defense, I've never heard a banana make a noise on its own, though.
The sound of food.
When you peel it, there's a sound. There's a
little bit.
It's
Very
like
appealing.
a little.
So what?
Yeah, there's like a perforation.
I've
If
never
you
heard that
have a
from
really
the banana.
high-end microphone, you can hear it.
All right, I'm gonna go get a banana.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is there something soothing about opening a can of sardines?
Big Dog is perfect.
It's good.
Also, Greg Cody just said to you guys, as if he was teaching you something, Greg Cody just said that people used to say that the term get off. That's what he was just explaining to you guys, that you didn't understand the term get off, that it used to be said. But Greg Cody was very delighted the other day because of a South Beach session with Phil Hendry in which he said that he was moved by the fact that Phil Hendry used a phrase that Greg is insistent about bringing back into the lexicon, that he doesn't believe that this phrase gets enough rejuvenation in modern times. It was very popular, just like the phrase groovy was in the 60s and 70s. And Greg Cody, you want to explain to people why it is you were moved by the recent South Beach session with Phil Hendry, in which he said, what did he say?
It's my number 14 ranked catchphrase, and the phrase is right on. And Phil Hendry blessed me, gifted me by saying that not once, but twice.
Well, let's hear just one of those, please, because two is too many. But one return to the South Beach session with Phil Hendry is enough. A very simple place is sharing a laugh.
Right on.
There it is.
And that's the way to say it. You say it quickly and you move on. Right on. You don't elaborate. You don't need to dress it up and bells and whistles. You say right on.
Right on.
Perfect, Phil. Way to go, Phil.
That was so good and efficient that I now want to hear the second Phil Hendry on South Beach session trying to resurrect the right on. Who in your house would have taught you what self-love looked like?
Right on.
That's not that. Is that an edit? What?
You guys made that one.
No, I heard
You
the
guys
entire
made that
interview.
bullshit.
I heard the entire interview.
That's not
There's
possible.
That's how it went.
that happened.
Absolutely
It was a
not.
great South Beach session.
Terrible editing.
It was a great South Beach
That's
session.
a self-assured man right there.
That doesn't make any sense. That sounds
that's
like
a great bit.
he
Dan
used-
asking like the most South Beach Sessions question,
It really
and
was.
just somebody big leaguing it with a
Right
short
on.
answer.
Right on.
Great bit. Do that every week.
Right on.
That's what I'm hoping for from Manu in Spanish.
Boss.
Right on.
What's the deepest, darkest, saddest part of your professional career?
Right on.
Cool. What did the darkness look like?
Right on.
Did it make you cry?
Right on.
When you wept, what did it feel like in your soul?
Right on.
Have you had sadder moments than that?
Right on.
I like the inflection.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Number 70.
Number 70, I'm fuller than Vern Fuller. 69, where's my click, click? 68, hey, Butterfinger up. 67, punt. 66, Scranton. 65, I'm busier than a one-arm paper hanger. 64, Georgia, Georgia. 63, I'm the kind of guy that 62, balling the jack. 61, hey, hey, with the monkeys, baby. 60, thank you, Billy. 59, I love him like a pet. 58, who made it a salad? 57, we're rolling now, huh? 56, your brain beating me. 55, let's go States. 54, driver comfort is paramount. 53, dummy up, save up. 52, catches catch can. 51, doesn't make it right. 50, so on and so forth. 49, very good. 48, the Little League theory. 47, nice hat, asshole. 46, the others, they all learn from me. 45, don't go showering to try to please me. 44, look at that jerk. 43, it's like a packing house in here. There should be hams hanging from hooks. 42, what'd you learn? 41, hee-haw, 3, ba-day up. 40, I'm not going to take a quiz. 39, sassafras. 38, what'd we break a window? 37, hello. 36, who won? 35, trailers for sale or rent. 34, you got to eat a peck of dirt before you die. 33, 3 words, we are the Lobos. 32, you're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee. 31, Rappy Cack. 30, another crisis solved. 29, nice chatting with you. 28, he ain't heavy, he's my blank. 27, hey, that's what I'm talking about. 26, who let a pet? 25, good on ya. 24, dancing swords. 23, QK, quick crap. 22, bay. 21, blanking it. 20, that's a fact, Jack. 19, gotta want to learn, gotta want to earn. 18, put a Lobo's mint under your pillow and dream big. 17, quite a bit. 16, take the rest of the day off. 15, do what now? 14, ride on. 13.
Hold on a second. Is this an old one? Is this a...
No, 13 is from last week, and then the new ones are 12 and 11.
All right. So we've got one more.
Yeah.
Do
so
what now?
14 is right on. 13, who shot John? and the new ones are 12 and 11.
All right, before we get to those, Chris Cody, I want your verdict, okay, on which of these you believe to be actually better than I'm just a small private individual. Butterfinger, do you believe that's better? Yes or no?
Hey, Butterfinger.
I love Butterfinger.
Okay, Scranton, you believe that's better?
No, I'm
yes
with
or
you.
no?
Scranton bad.
Ball in the Jack, yes or no?
No, I don't like Ball in the Jack.
Catch as catch can, better?
I like that one better.
So on and so forth?
No.
Who shot John?
I like Who Shot John.
Sassafras?
I like that one better.
Rappy Cack?
I like that one better.
They're just fun words.
There's 3 in there though that you could definitely replace for sure.
I believe your father's lying, and I don't know how we catch him in this lie. I believe he simply forgot. I'm just a small private individual.
Oh, he for sure forgot it.
Give me a polygraph. I'll take it right now. Strap me up. Strap it on.
Strap what on?
The polygraph machine. The wires. What do you put them on your finger? It's like nowadays when you go into the doctor, right? You put your fingertip in something and it gives your temperature. I suspect that's what the polygraph is, right? Just do that.
Baby.
Anyway, you want 12 and 11 or no?
Yes, I would love 12 and 11.
Number 12. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning.
Right on.
So when ham came up earlier and I said if I had a hammer, unbeknownst to everyone on earth but me, I was teasing number 12.
Well, I had heard the podcast, so I knew
That's
it too.
true. That's true.
That's how the great ones do it.
It did debut on the Greg Cody show yesterday, if I must be truthful.
With
number 11?
So you're saying unbeknownst to anyone but you and everyone in your listening audience.
That's true, yes. That's true. You're right.
So you were saying it was the exclusive domain of just you, except for you had shared it with anyone who listens
Right,
to you.
exactly. Yeah.
This is in the same category of the showering. Anytime he hears the word shower, he's just going to say, "Don't go showering." And this is, if he just hears the word hammer, kind of like earlier,
Okay.
he just sings, "If I had a hammer."
This is historic right now because we are legitimately now, it would appear, unless something changes in the next week, we are approaching the top 10.
Yes,
the
we are.
actual top 10. We are again approaching the top 10. Now it might move back and we might be outside the top 20 again when he remembers a bunch on the drive home. But number 11.
Number 11 was born on Christmas Day. Rap, rap, rap. They call him the rapper.
Right on.
Pretty self-explanatory. When someone's wrapping something or unwrapping a gift, he
Right.
sings that.
We are at the precipice of the top 10 in the longest bit in podcast history.
Aqua? All right. I want to have an issue with this, but I assume Chris Cody feels very strongly that this is a trademark catchphrase because he's had the pleasure of spending Christmas mornings with you.
Yes, I mean, both of those are just... See, are they a little overrated? I feel like both of those could have been lower on this list. But
Yeah.
these are 100%, both those songs, 12 and 11, they are Greg Cody staples. He's sung my whole life.
Thank you. They apply to rap as in music, and they apply to rap as in gift wrap, and any other version of rap. My dad used to refer to knocking on a door as rapping on a door. I have no idea why. Don't remember ever asking him. But had he been alive now and said someone's rapping at the door, I'd be over there in the background going, rap, rap, rap. They call him the rapper.
Greg, while that is delightful, I would like to know the methodology behind ranking that as high as it is. I'm not saying it shouldn't be
Right.
one of the top 70. I'm just saying there are some Greg Cody staples in there, like
Yeah.
We Are the Lobos and all that. It's much, much further down the list.
True.
How do you weigh what is actually a high ranking?
Shocking to hear that high. And that close to the top 10. Shocking to hear something I've never heard you do before.
Well, I have done it before. That's the thing. One of the things about this list is that some of them are things that I say all the time on this show and on my show and just regularly. Some of the things are more family things that Christopher is really aware of, whereas maybe you all much less so. Some of the things are very personal to me. Nobody had ever heard the Little League theory before. But the reason I put it in there is that it's something I've said since I was 11 years old playing for Adler's Drugs. And I'd come home. I wouldn't feel like going to the game, and my parents would make me go, and I'd have 3 hits and make a great play in the field. I was gung-ho for the game, and I'd go 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and an error. That's the Little League theory, and it applies to all parts of life. Sometimes, if you really, really look forward to something, it's a disappointment. And if you dread something, it's much better than you expected. I have found that to be a truism, not entirely, but enough where it became a theory called the Little League theory. And that's all caps, by the way, including the Little League theory. So people can make fun of it, but it's only number 48. It's not like I ranked it real high.
All I know is that who made it a salad in the 50s is like, what the hell is this 12 and 11?
Well,
Who made it a salad?
you know, this did start as a top 50. So, as a messy byproduct of that whole construct, making it a top 70 meant some of the catchphrases are a little higher than they should be. In fact, number 11 wasn't on the list at all. But, you know.
It was if I had a hammer, I'd a hammer
kind of
in
thing.
the morning.
But the top 10's been set.
The top 10
I think.
is known. The order
Yeah.
of it is not known.
Uh,
That's open to debate. But here's the other thing, and I can't say this enough. You give me any top 70 all-time baseball players, top 70 movies, top 70 foods. Everybody's list is going to be different. Somebody's going to have sardines in the 60s. Somebody else is going to go, what? That's in the top 70? And it's the very same with this catchphrase countdown. I love it when I hear people say, I don't think rap should have been as high as number 11 because you know what? Debate is good, controversy is good, and it is hard to believe that rap so greatly outranked. We're rolling now, huh?
And very good.
Yeah, that's true.
Very good's got to be pissed.
Yeah, you could argue that the person making this list really doesn't know what he's doing.
The craziest part about this is that rapping at the door is like a very normal phrase.
Is it?
Like, yeah, it's in The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay, maybe my dad was a big Poe fan.
As of someone gently rapping at my chamber door.
Okay, there you go. Rap. They call him the rapper.
Maybe your dad was a Ravens fan.
It could be. Yeah, you know what? The Ravens weren't around back then. The Baltimore Ravens. But the Bird was.
A number of things that I want to bring
Right
up
on.
here. Number one, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should anybody have sardines in their top 60 foods at Le Batard Show? And also, something that he said, debate is good, controversy is good. I saw some people who were writing about the idea that ESPN is now moving to try and unwind the embrace debate era. And some things have been written about can they actually, by edict, remove what has become, game-changing in our industry, which is create debate for the sake of debate. It's how First Take went from ESPN's most criticized show to one of its most valuable shows, is because what Greg is saying is right, that debate is good and controversy is good. And in that respect, I want to play for you. I've got a number of football stories that I want to get to, but from yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not interesting. This season is thrown away. They don't have a championship chance. Their one-year bandage at quarterback
Mike McCarthy, though.
is chief. The hood ornament on uninteresting is Mike McCarthy.
It's Mike McCarthy.
And so Pat McAfee is making his rounds, going around to football camps. And if you're going to Steelers camp, you're going to talk to Aaron Rodgers. And I'm actually, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I am grateful that there is a quarterback that is willing to go outside of the confines of all of the boring that quarterbacks give you. I think that the most interesting personality at quarterback who isn't Aaron Rodgers publicly is probably Baker Mayfield. I don't know, like just in terms of personality, in terms of how he's creating headlines, they all try to avoid headlines, right? And so listen to parts of this exchange because I don't want to get into the all of it, but from the question to parts of the answer, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions off of this.
Can you tell us about the mindset of coming into your last season? Like, that's a real thing, it feels like, because is everything better? Is everything funner? Is everything more awesome? Like, how do you kind of view this year versus maybe the years of the past?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay.
Okay. Like gotta love that guy. Okay. Like that absolute coward, Tony Fauci. Absolute coward.
Yeah.
There, it's back,
Are
baby.
you kidding me?
Yeah, 111
You
times.
got a pardon and you're in front and you pleaded over 100 times
Yeah.
at the White House. What are you scared of, Tony?
Yeah.
I thought you were the science.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were I am science, and you get up there and you can't answer a question.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
baby.
And how much time did the network spend at that? How much time did they spend on my responses every week, on my vaccination status, on Taylor and Travis's wedding?
You may have seen McAfee clap during that after he goes after the network. That dynamic is interesting. And the question, that's one of McAfee's producers enjoying the chaos that they're causing.
I like, if you kept watching the clip, he then starts to really go in on ESPN.
And the producers are like, whoa, back to
No,
Fauci.
back to Fauci. They literally just started saying, go back to Fauci.
So a number of things that I want to get to here, Greg, but what are your thoughts as you hear portions of that?
My initial thought is if you have Aaron Rodgers on as a guest, you want maximum Aaron Rodgers. You want weird Aaron Rodgers. He was 5 years ago, he was the sports face of anti-vaxxers. And so the idea he would make fun of Fauci is not surprising. I didn't find that a particularly entertaining exchange, but it seemed like maybe the crowd did. Somebody else, some coach, opened a press conference with the Fifth Amendment joke. Taking the Fifth Amendment is perfectly legal in America, and it's not supposed to imply guilt or imply you're hiding something. You're allowed to plead the Fifth Amendment as a parenthetical. But you know, his job is to have on guests that are interesting to people. If that does good ratings, if that does good numbers, then it's a good interview.
Okay, so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about with you here, because you just said debate is good and controversy is good, and I'm guessing ESPN made nothing yesterday that was seen more than that. My guess is that ESPN made nothing yesterday that was seen close to a fraction as much as that. And the question I have for Amin and the rest of you is not what is ESPN's job, but what is television's job. And the reason that I ask the question is because when ESPN had 110 million subscribers and 100 million of them were not actually watching much of anything on ESPN, the most viewed things were football games, and it was 10 million people watching football games. So you have 100 million people paying for something that they're not actually watching or using. It's a bulletproof business model, and when you have that business model, you can play around with the making of things, with formats, with movies, with 30 for 30, because you've got such an excess of money that you can play around for that. But this is a more desperate time. And I believe that the job of television is simply, and it has no greater responsibility than what it is that I'm saying if you're cable television. Network television may be something different. The job of television, first and foremost, is get your attention. Keep your attention. Those are the jobs. That's not the job that ESPN necessarily signed up for. They wanted to do journalism around that. They wanted to feel like newspapers felt, where it's not just that we're going to give you the stuff that you want to read. We're going to tell you what's also important, how to think about things. We're going to give you information, yes, but we're going to create a hierarchy so that we're telling you what's important. The most important thing now is just get the eyes, correct? Is there any other job that television has now other than just get the eyes?
Can I ask, was there ever any other job other than get the eyes? Isn't that what we all circle jerk to ratings? That's just eyes. That's a fancy way of saying eyes.
The ratings have never mattered at ESPN. They've been the worldwide leader whether they have the ratings or not.
Well, you asked me about television. You didn't ask me about ESPN. If we're going to ESPN specifically, it didn't matter because, again, to remind everybody, for decades of cable and satellite TV bills, there was a hidden fee in there that was mandatory. The moment you had the most basic cable package that was anything more than broadcast networks, you paid an ESPN fee whether you watched that thing religiously or you never even heard of sports. And that was what made them the most profitable arm of the mighty Disney Corporation. More than the parks, more than the movies, more than the merchandising. Anything you could think of. Well, what about this? Cruise lines, whatever it is. ESPN was number one cash cow because rain or snow, the money came in regularly. And the thing that killed it was people saying, I don't need cable anymore. Cord cutting killed ESPN's profit printing action. And so as a result, now it's like the ratings do become meaningful because now you have to earn your keep. You have to attract attention, whereas before the attention was already monetized even if no one turned it on.
So what is it, though, about prurient interests or American viewing habits that there is some sort of line that Jerry Springer crosses, that there is some sort of televised line where the job isn't supposed to be just get eyes, where people get angry because you've crossed some sort of moral line by debasing yourself and grabbing at stuff that people view as somehow beneath whatever the standard of television is supposed to be, according to the people who are calling and complaining. Look, man, ESPN has had to change some of this stuff, at least in part because their customers were complaining. There was a segment of the customer population that felt like it was not being spoken for the way that Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee just made them feel spoken for by having all of what he just said on ESPN, specifically on Disney. Right on.
Right. I think what you want, and I heard your talk with Dan Patrick about interviewing. I found it fascinating. I think that what you want from an interview is emotion from the audience or from the person you're talking to. If I'm interviewing Aaron Rodgers, I don't care the least about him regurgitating old animus against Fauci, and I don't care all that much about the Steelers or the football season, even though it's his last. What I care about is what he's going through now with mending his broken relationship with his family, which I think is an opportunity to take a very polarizing guy like Aaron Rodgers, who a lot of people mock and make fun of, and now he's doing something that even Rodgers haters go, you know what? I'm happy for him. I'm glad after all this time he's mended his relationship.
Dan, you got me thinking back here as where did the line get crossed, as you asked? And I think you're right. It is Jerry Springer. That is the flashpoint in television history where we went from, it doesn't have to be high-minded conversation here. Phil Donahue and all that, very families disrupted. How can we bring people together in this very emotionally kind of caring environment? Jerry Springer gave a middle finger to all that and said, no, just give me some yokels. We're going to fight. And then let's have the crowd get up and start roasting the people at the end of the episode. And all of that stuff was, people looked at it as lowest common denominator kind of filth, but it printed money and it did numbers and it spawned kind of other imitators. And as a result, we took this giant step. The next big step, the writer's strike of the early 2000s, because what happened was TV had to pivot to something that didn't need as much writers, and they pivoted to reality TV. And reality TV, they saw the numbers would spike when certain people, hey, this guy's a jackass. Let's put him on more. Let's antagonize him. Let's antagonize the people around him. That shoved Hollywood and mainstream media towards, let's do it. And then the final part, you said First Take, but you know who First Take granddaddy is? The one.
Cold pizza.
No, before Cold Pizza. Pardon the interruption. And yes, Pardon the Interruption was two smart, funny guys who knew each other and had a great rapport. But the takeaway was people like arguments. And that spawned everything that's happened over the last 25 years or so.
Well, so I've told this story before, but I will tell it again. At one point on ESPN on SportsCenter, Mitch Albom, me, and Mike Lupica were doing sort of written essays that we would just read. And they went to their focus groups and they tested that. And their focus groups all came back with, I just don't want to hear one side of this. I want to hear both sides of this. I don't want to hear just Mitch Albom or Mike Lupica or me talking about one subject. I want two people talking about it. And so they took that advice, they went with their focus groups, and they changed some of that. When Amin says Jerry Springer, and when we talk about Jerry Springer, he was No rules. My job is only to put something on television that you're going to watch. And I've watched a handful of documentaries, whether it's the weight loss show, whether it's To Catch a Predator, where it's Jerry Springer, where the cost of that is the human beings who are making those television shows were really damaged by what it is that they were making there in pursuit of all of that money and all of those eyes. But let's go back for a second to what Aaron Rodgers just did there on Fauci. I do understand how it is that Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers would get annoyed by the fact that they were being pressured by everyone on the idea that science and the rest of us were telling them that they needed to put something in their body that they did not want to put in their body. And we did cover that for a long time because it was the athletes doing that. But here Aaron Rodgers is coming and asking ESPN to talk about Fauci on McAfee's show when their policy is no politics unless Aaron Rodgers brings it up. Then you're allowed to talk about it, which is what it is that ended up being the beginning of the end for us at ESPN, because I was objecting to the idea of that, of what do you mean the policy has to be that Aaron Rodgers has to bring this up before I'm allowed to bring it up so that I could use him as a meat shield? What did you think of his complaints there? The complaints on the network that he's obviously doesn't want to talk about football. This is a guy, to be clear on what this is, okay? In the Brady era, I believe this to be the best quarterback that there was, and I believe he would have won more Super Bowls than Brady if he had merely been drafted by a team that played in domes. If he had go look at his numbers in domes when the conditions cannot affect him and home field advantages, and actually home field advantage because he's got to play in Green Bay in December and January when the elements are going to affect his game. This is the best quarterback I had ever seen, even in the Brady era. And the punctuation on his career is just he's going for this one season in Pittsburgh where quietly I thought he stopped doing this show, correct? I assumed that McAfee was told and quietly agreed to with everybody involved and threw a bone to ESPN. I'll not talk to Aaron Rodgers every week so that it's not quite this noisy every week, something that you don't actually want with your broadcast.
It became more occasional, and I don't know if that was Aaron's decision, or the Steelers, them collaborating. Pat McAfee has always shown whenever he wants Aaron Rodgers on, he puts Aaron Rodgers on, which is part of the facade that I take objection with this whole thing.
But he was on a lot less the last season.
Yeah, but I think that was his decision. But this serves a lot of people. It's just not super interesting. I think it's interesting that a bunch of free thinkers think that they're being free thinkers when they're falling for a classic diversionary tactic that is constructed by the right. We're talking about something from 7 years ago, and we're provocative. We're talking about pleading the fifth. You start peeling back the layers. What are we actually celebrating? The fact that our mortality rate was 1 out of every 1,600, that's a victory parade. And even if you pull back further layers, you're like, well, who was in charge back then? Lefties? No, that wasn't there. It serves a lot of people. Number one, it serves the right. And number two, it serves this facade of Pat McAfee and his show being anti-establishment when they are the key talent for Disney's cable sports channel.
I'm confused. Maybe I'm ill-informed. Is the argument that, like, hey, those vaccines turns out not necessary because kind of stemmed the tide of the spread of COVID? No? Like, didn't it work? Are we just celebrating the Fauci?
I just wanted people to stop being assholes and wear a mask.
Yeah, well, look, this is a conversation about whether you believe in science or not, and it's a larger conversation than sports. But when Mike says he doesn't find it super interesting, he's certainly allowed to not find it super interesting, but you can't tell me it's being viewed more than anything else at ESPN because others aren't finding it interesting.
Which, to answer your question, like, what is television's job? We all saw this clip on social media.
But that's what television has become in the modern age. Like, it becoming something that's on social media, something that is the lifeblood now of all late night television.
Well, I think right now ESPN's daytime programming job is to make Pat McAfee a huge star, and Pat McAfee famously has an edge to him. But I think that's a construct now. You can only have so much edge when you're being put on everything. how dangerous is this person really if you're the first call the channel makes? So anytime Aaron Rodgers does stuff like that or invokes Rossini and Vrabel, it makes Pat McAfee seem more dangerous than he actually is, because ESPN is totally fine with what goes on there. Otherwise, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't be on.
Better theme song, People's Court or Gilligan's Island. But if I start singing Gilligan's Island by snapping my fingers near my nipples, I could jazz it up too.
Ba-dum-dum-dum.
No. I reject that premise. Your list is falling apart.
How's it falling apart? Wait, the People's Court everyone loves the People's Court.
I agree, but
the people are real. But the cases are real.
I'm not disputing the love of the People's Court. I'm saying you're underestimating the epic and seismic eternal echoing of Gilligan's Island.
Okay, you don't like People's Court? How about this? Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Saturday, what a day.
A
3-hour tour.
Wait, hold on, man. Are you telling me you think Gilligan's Island is better than Happy Days?
No, I'm not telling you that.
Okay, then. All right. So then we're in. Oh, here's one. Knight Rider.
I reject that. You've offended Gilligan's Island.
What? Knight Rider?
Yeah, I got it. An automated car, a smart car. I got it. You watch war games with your kids. You're stuck in the 80s and 90s.
Whoa, hey.
Michael, we hadn't teased that one yet. Knight Rider is one of the coolest theme songs of
I
all
agree,
time.
but it's not Gilligan's Island, and I don't name the words. Name the words on the theme song. You got to have some words. It can't just be all instrumentals.
A shadowy figure.
It can't be all instrumentals. It can't have no song in it.
It can be wordless. For example, the whistling in front of the Andy Griffith Show.
You know what? No, it can be. You're right. Hawaii 5-0 is in my top 5, and I don't think,
That
one's good.
Just sit right back and you hear a tale of a tiny fateful ship.
Oh, you guys want one? You want 80s for real?
You guys got me, man. You guys are going to come up with a top 10 list. It's like, you might be able to do it with just instrumentals.
Dan, have you ever heard of a show called Magnum P.I.? And then it switches. I
need to know from all of you if the theme song, I'm realizing now, because he's grabbing everything from the last century. Like there's nothing. You haven't. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is the closest thing to recent you're giving us in the last 30 years. Has the theme song on television died, or are you?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it's
a lot of shows just go right into action. There's no real theme song.
So it's died? So wait a minute. Is there anything on your list from this century?
So
no. So 1987. So no.
You know about that B.A. Baracus?
Why?
With Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Marianne here on Gilligan's Isle.
Oh, man, such a big close.
Move them in, move them out, move them up, move them up, rawhide. Ride them in, rawhide.
Yeah.
1950s.
That's great rawhide. Are you kidding me?
When did this die and no one told me? What, you guys have not named anything in 30 years. Like that.
The Office theme song.
Here's one more. Oh, the way Glenn Miller played songs that made the hit parade.
All in the Family.
Guys like us, we had it made.
Those were the days.
How you do what you want?
It's my woman.
Wow.
I have never been more surprised in the entirety of my existence than Roy unleashing Edith from All in the Family's singing voice in the perfect tone. It is the most surprised I've been, not on this show, in all my time living. Let's do Gas Bag of the Week. Roy, what is it that needs context here on who's speaking and who is the Gas Bag of the Week?
All right, so Steve Eisman stepped down as general manager and executive vice president of the Detroit Red Wings. Having problems up there. Dylan Larkin was to be traded. So a sports fan called into a Detroit radio station and gave his theory about why he's been so bad as general manager.
Tim is next on 97.1. Hello, Tim.
There was a clip a few years back on TNT where they were interviewing Yzerman in between periods, and he basically said, without saying, he smokes a nice one, every once in a while to relax. Do you think maybe he was on that was lettuce a little too much? He was a little too passive, perhaps.
What? What, think that they're high?
Do you think that was a factor?
No. What? Do we think that Steve Yzerman struggled because he's a pothead? Is that what you just asked us? No. No, I don't. And did he admit that? No, I feel like if he admitted that, are you on the devil's lettuce? Are you the pothead? What?
All right. Well, there's that.
No!
Gas Bag of the Week.
Does that deserve applause?
I love radio remotes. Birds chirping in the background. The soft sounds of you adjusting your headphones.
Are you on the devil's lettuce?
The fact that that's probably a car dealership. Oh, that's hot. I like that. I'm an audiophile.
Down at Potemkin Mazda.
So is Roy. Roy is, I don't know what that look is on Roy's face, but
Sonically
it
pleasing.
looked a bit like old girlfriend longing. She was a real Hellcat.
Yeah, real tomcat. I love that. Oh, hey, Gary Abar. I'm getting a little. My return is a little too loud, Gary Abar. Oh man,
where's Tree?
Oh yeah. What's the ISCN settings?
Somebody
G.722.
I get this joke too.
We got a backup coupler. Hell yeah, G.722.
It's a good call by you.
Gary Abar, Jeremy, was the most competent of all of the engineering and audio help that we had. But that particular sound that Roy just played that made him both nostalgic and longing in a way that is weird. There's a little nature in there. But what you really hear there that is making Roy laugh, and it's what Zaz is appreciating here as well. Rare is it that you get the sound of what it sounds like on the very lowest rung of the show business ladder. And this is below that. So you got the lowest rung of the show business ladder, and then you've got where you plant the ladder underneath that. And then underneath that, then the car people coming by, and you're surrounded by used car salesmen, and Ed Williamson is up your ass.
Just 500 due at signing.
Tax tagging time.
We got a bounce house here for the kids. The cookies are warm and the coffee is hotter.
My father would show up at those when we weren't doing the remotes just to have the pigs in a blanket that have been there since Wednesday on a tray where, Julio, the sad car dealer guy who's finishing 9th place just out of the bonus that week is sniffing around as you're talking about Lusaka Polite.
Got Defo in the corner asking trivia questions at JM Lexus about the 1970s Knicks. I love it.
That's where we started right there. Gary Abar is the height of the professionalism. I don't know why they did that. Look, people in Gary Abar's position in my history in this business, every last one of Our friend Jason Benetti will join us, I'm sure, from some random hotel room somewhere in America, as he always does. But before we do that, I saw that he kind of got a shout-out on Last Week Tonight. They didn't name him by name. They just enjoyed his coverage of a squirrel running on the field, and they said they mocked him a little bit by saying that he sounded like he was broadcasting the Odyssey because he gave it a lot of importance. We'll get his thoughts on that in a second. But first, can I hear that McAfee producer excited by just the ripping of Fauci? Yeah! Can you compare that to Howard Dean and the sound he made that ended his presidential career? Yeah! Let's put those side by side again. Yeah!
He's the president if he does the first one.
You are so right about that, Jeremy.
It's crazy. That ended political careers back then.
It's
He had shame about that.
It's not just, hey, man, you don't get to run for president. It's get the fuck away from us forever. I don't know. What happened to Howard Dean? Like, get out, forever.
Jason Benetti joins us from, as I mentioned, the aforementioned hotel room. That is his life, the backdrop of the entirety of his life. Jason, look, smiling an awful lot for a guy who just lost the ace and had baseball ruined, and soon will have a sport that's totally locked out. Jason, welcome. Welcome to the show.
I'm smiling because I like the idea that even if I'm at a restaurant, I'm at a hotel. And even if I'm at the supermarket, I'm at a hotel. The idea that the hotel follows me everywhere, even if I'm driving, is really funny.
Let's play for Jason the sound of him doing the broadcast of a squirrel running on the field and somehow evading 70 grounds crew members.
The chase for the squirrel is on, and the squirrel is in the corner, and the squirrel is still eluding an entire horde of grounds crew members. And the squirrel's free once again. Hemmed in? No, I won't be hemmed in. I have freedom on my mind. Trying to go between the legs, and eventually he gets away again and hops through the towel. And hops through another towel. The force field is activated. Towels can't stop him, or maybe they can.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the grounds crew. Let's give them a round of applause. The Detroit Tigers grounds crew, thank you.
That's Bill Miller, the crew chief. He just got on his mic to thank the grounds crew and got booed. It took 67 of them to catch one squirrel.
Benetti, what are your thoughts on how well you called that and how that seems to have imprinted all of America?
So, multiple things. I think it would have landed even better had I just started listing states like Howard Dean. States that the squirrel was going to conquer. I think that would have kept me in the populace nowadays. The other cool part of it is, like, in a little mini sentimental, the clip that you heard of laughing at Bill Miller, the umpire, getting booed was Kevin Brown and Ben McDonald from the Orioles broadcast. And Kevin and I actually did 4 years of AAA baseball in the same booth. So we were doing all of those years of minor league baseball as a plan, as a long con to get ready for Squirrel Gate. And there was literally a gate, so it is a gate. There was a gate that the squirrel wouldn't run through at Comerica Park. You're just messing around, and then suddenly, I get back from the game Sunday night in LA, and I look at social media, and I have a bunch of tweets involving John Oliver, and I said to myself, like, well, that's interesting, and went back and watched it. Like, I think he's really funny, and I thought it was hilarious that he was mocking me.
Yeah, I thought it was disrespectful. I don't think that he knows about your greatness and doesn't care about your greatness. And I thought he really reduced you to just a commenter who was taking sports too seriously.
Yeah, he thinks that you're just some guy that's so focused on your job that you couldn't even call a squirrel without having some fun. He thinks you're a nerd. He thinks you don't find joy in anything if it's not work related. He's mocking you. And you're going to sit here and give him compliments like, oh, it was so flattering. No, Benetti, you need to go on the offensive. You need to go at John Oliver on your next broadcast.
Yes.
Let's see how he feels.
Yeah.
Right on.
How about we ask if John Oliver wants to stage a debate about how joyful sports should be? And then John Oliver can take the counter position of sports should have no joy. That was not my takeaway, but I think it would be a funny bit if John Oliver took up the position that things should have no joy.
The program that he does, he's been extended through 2027, which was no guarantee given the condition of that merger and the state of America. More seriously and taking sports more joyously, or less joyously in Detroit, more joyously in Los Angeles. Your thoughts, all of your thoughts on everything that just happened, which to me was a super unique thing across sports. It is very rare that all the people in sports gather together and just look at a transaction and say that's unfair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a very layered one. So this might be a little bit of a long answer. I don't know what the offers were that came in. I know from talking to Dodger people that those are good quality prospects. Like, I don't think it is. I think there are good pieces in the deal. Where my mind goes is the global perspective, and I don't disagree with Tarek Skubel's take yesterday at all. I think Tarek's a really smart guy and an awesome competitor. We've talked about him on the show and how much I like narrating his games. Tarek said any team in Major League Baseball could have traded for me, and that is true. Like there is quite a bit of prospect hoarding in our sport, and I totally understand why. You're playing on thinner margins if you're other teams, but any team could have ponied up and said, we want to counterbalance the Dodgers not wanting us to have him. I think part of why the Dodgers went to go get Tarek Skubal is because they didn't want to face him. That's not the only reason to make the transaction, but I do think that's a big part of it. And I do agree with Tarek that any team could have gone and traded for Tarek Skubal. And the other thing that he said that really does dovetail with my worldview is like he wants to be the best. He wants to be on the best team. He's going to fit in perfectly because that's what drives him. And so I don't have as much sympathy for other teams because they could have overpaid. In draft periods, we always talk about, you always hear a GM say, yeah, it might have been a reach, but we had the guy that we wanted to get. I think the trade deadline has very similar sensibility. If there's a guy you really want to get for now and go win a title and eat for free in your city for a long, long time and have those reunions where everybody celebrates, you kind of have to go for it.
I thought that Milwaukee should have tried because I believe Milwaukee can beat them in a 7-game series, and I don't know why, if you're Milwaukee, you wouldn't aggressively get in on that. Who was the team that should have done it the most, according to you, to keep him away from the Dodgers?
Dan, I agree with you. I think the most intriguing, just as a baseball viewer, I'm going to let other teams general manage their teams, but as a baseball viewer, if you're going to get Brewers Dodgers and you're going to call the Dodgers a villain, as some people have over the course of the week because they've built up this storehouse, if you're going to have Brewers Dodgers, Miz and Skubal versus Yamamoto, and take your pick of the guys who are injured or whoever they would put in the 2 spot at that time because of injury, like that is awesome theater. So for the sport and for the Brewers too, right? A team that hasn't had that pedigree of championships in any way, don't you want to go for it at some point? I mean, I think there are a lot of people in general manager and president jobs across Major League Baseball that are looking at the long game more than the short game. At some point, you have to win a title to make a legacy. We get one shot on earth to make a legacy. Mine is coming on this show and talking about DUI tests, but other people get other shots to make legacies in their life. And I don't know that general managers and presidents value that broad thing, that idea, as much as maybe they could or they have in the past.
Jason,
Did you get mad at excuse me, Greg, at the Tony Romo DUI arrest because of how detailed and difficult it was? We tried it here, and Chris failed it, and he was sober yesterday morning.
You guys tried the test?
Oh, we just didn't understand the instructions. Like she was confusing, and we were confused. And there was the right foot, and you got to lift it up and stare at it, and
6 inches above the ground, parallel.
And it hadn't even started yet, and it made me think of you.
I just had a panic attack. There are instructions. When I heard about that test the first time, none of it was something I could do. So now that there are specific instructions, that is somehow more alarming.
Jason, the Miami Marlins made 3 or 4 trades yesterday, all of them pretty minor in my opinion. Would you say it's accurate that they traded ground beef for ham?
Well, I don't. This is like when somebody hands me the phone at a game and says, "Hey, my grandma always says the phrase blank," right? And then I go, "Yeah, I don't think that's what happens. I think I'm settling a fantasy football bet." And so, like, I have said a number of your phrases willingly and with a thrill in my heart. However, meat comparisons seem thorny, just on the surface. Just saying.
That's fair.
Well, let's continue the conversation with him the way that we were having it, because if I were to ask Jason Benetti, what is the meat that would be most untradeable for him, where I can't counter with another meat and get him to trade me that particular meat, what is the meat that you're saying is the best of the meats to have in your ownership that is absolutely on your no trade list?
So can it be meat that is procured and prepared a certain way? Like, are we just talking like straight up chicken, beef, pork, or can it be like chicken a la king, chicken Kiev? Like, is it a preparation deal or is it just the specific meat product?
Buddy, it's your world, man. Whatever you want.
Now, unless you choose sardines, and frankly, chicken shouldn't be allowed either. They keep making these meats when I'm thinking more of the red meats. I'm not thinking birds and fish. I'm thinking cattle.
Dan's on his own on that.
And pigs.
Yeah, I would say a really great fillet. Like a really well-prepared steak, one of those steaks you go, oh, all steaks are the same. And then you bite into it and you're like, man, that is just better than the average steak. To make a steak better than the average steak, I think is actually a craft. So that's what I would say. I haven't thought a lot about this, but I think I'm gonna. And then next time I'll have a dissertation.
Elite meat.
The idea that the filet is your number one overall pick offends me.
What?
The filet.
Okay, all right. Then we're gonna go. Chicken parm. Is that better? Is that better for the rank and file?
Talking here.
I'm more of a veal guy.
Chicken parmalee.
You're not going to go to Buffalo with chicken parmalee.
Yeah!
Jack ham.
Talking about.
Do not change your answer because of peer pressure. Benetti, what's the matter with you? How did you get pushed
No,
off
I'm
on
not-
filet mignon?
I'm just throwing chum in the water. And can chum in the water be my answer?
That's a great answer. Now you're back on
Now
track.
we're back to sardines again, and I'm not having those as part of this meat discussion. I'm just not doing it. Do you believe, Jason, that owners, or many owners, a majority of owners, were secretly happy that Skubal deal happened because they want to lock out?
I don't think owners are ever secretly happy. I think owners like to talk more than they let on, is how I would put it. I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen with this whole thing. And I think regardless of what happens this Major League Baseball season, people are going to yoke it to the labor discussions anyway. So I mean, I think there are different sets of owners who are more committed to use the deadline to bolster their teams. That is 1,000% true. And, I wish it wasn't personally for people in cities where, they're playable for the postseason in like 50% or better terms, and they don't really go for it. But, that again, people are gonna run their own teams their own way.
For Scooble, ESPN ranked the prospects the Dodgers gave up as the 5th and 8th best prospects. Is there a reason that no other team had a better offer than that beyond you saying that all the teams are now prospect hoarding?
Well, I mean, it's a hard one. It is a really hard one because when you're not privy to those conversations, you don't really hear about what the other offers are. And I also think every team values certain prospects higher and lower than others. Every team has models. Like you see the AAV come out on the Red Sox Orioles trade and the modeling on the millions that those are worth. Everybody's models are going to be different. So I've seen enough of this. I saw some of it with the White Sox on trades that allegedly were wins or losses, and it flipped later on in careers. It's just so hard and like almost impossible to evaluate in the moment. The other thing is, people in the league want Dodger prospects. The Dodgers will tell you that. Other people will tell you that with other teams. And, getting the 5th and 8th Dodger prospects, somebody else's 1 and 2 certain times.
This is a yes or no question. You were made sad by Scooble being traded.
Sad is hard. Sad by him being traded, no. Sad that I don't get to watch him every 5 days because I love watching people who are highly competitive and the best at what they do. Absolutely, yes.
Top 5 television theme songs of all time. Go.
So number 1 for me, just off the top of my head, is the Mary Tyler Moore theme song.
Nice.
Because it's so aspirational, and she somehow freezes her hat in midair. Dick Van Dyke Show because it's catchy. All in the Family because I don't know how they got Gene Stapleton and Carol O'Connor to sing it together, but it's phenomenal.
Well, hold on just a second. Just hold on just a second.
And you knew what you wanted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Phenomenal. Did you purchase studio recording time to do that? Was the Wrecking Crew behind you for that? That
got
is
good
amazing.
producers for it, yeah.
You just got a live rendition. That wasn't even something he was throwing to audio. He did that live for you. He summoned Edith from All in the Family live. I learned that he had that in his repertoire a week ago. It's as shocked as I've ever been.
That's real. That happened live just now? I thought that was on tape.
Guess who sang it to you? Why don't you look around the room here and tell us who sang that to you? Could you see the people in here?
I can, sort of, but I don't know who sang it. I don't.
Guess, you coward, guess.
I don't want to guess. I have more theme songs to list.
Go That's smart. It was the black guy.
Soap is 4, off the top of my head because it was catchy. And then Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego is 5th.
Oh no!
Because you have to love us. You have to love a show that decided to score their entire show with an a cappella group. You talk about things that couldn't happen nowadays, like Howard Dean obviously would be president after that rampage. But you couldn't have an a cappella group on a geography show anymore.
Do you understand why everyone seems so mad about what just happened? Because I don't have a comp for what just happened with Scooble, and I'm mad at the Brewers for not going for it the way they did with CC Sabathia.
Do I understand why people are mad? People are mad at who, though? Like, mad at other if I'm fans of other teams, I would say, why didn't we go do that? Like, you're not going to spend the money in free agency if you're 26 of the other teams to go get Tarek Skubal. All of the discussions that I had with baseball insider types who were looking for the most intriguing avenue that wasn't the Dodgers was teams that wouldn't spend the money in free agency by their track record and then go ahead and do it for 2 months. The Brewers had the history with the CC Sabathia trade, one of the biggest trades of the deadline ever. I thought Tampa Bay had the prospects to do it. And obviously in a weekend diluted American League, you could very easily have seen them go and do it. I don't think the AL West teams are powerhouse enough to go and had done that. I did think one of the intriguing ones would have been the White Sox.
I can't believe how good the White Sox are. They were so historically bad last year. I don't understand. And you're an ex-White Sox guy. I don't get how baseball is so puzzling that Toronto and Seattle are no good anymore and Chicago and the White Sox are. I mean, it's a weak American League, but still, they were so bad last year, Jason. Historically bad.
Yeah, I think part of it, honestly, and this is just a hypothesis, but I think part of it is you have fewer veteran guys in the league. There's a lot more churn at the bottom of rosters. And so you have less institutional knowledge on some of the better teams. I also think that things get stale faster nowadays. Like, that's why we see managers flip faster and head coaches in college basketball and other sports flip faster. I just think things get stale faster. We always talk about shorter attention spans in like the media environment. I think that happens in clubhouses too. I think things get stale quicker. And so you get more churn and more flipping of leagues than you used to. That's just a hypothesis.
Good seeing you, Jason. Always nice to see you. Thank you for the time. I just want to replay for you as punctuation a sound you actually made on this show.
Well, I don't.
And
yeah, so you ever see Jim Brewer do Goat Boy on Saturday Night Live? That is somehow a nephew of that, I think.
Can you just play that sound again for me, Roy? And I want you guys to all imagine if I just took a finger that Jason Benetti was not expecting and put it in a surprise place on Jason Benetti. Is this what it would sound like?
Well, I don't. Yeah, if I were starting the debate that we were going to sanction with me and John Oliver and you poked me in the ribs, that's exactly how it would sound. I'm formulating a thought and then somehow you're prodding me. It's inappropriate. Well, I don't.
I wasn't thinking of the ribs.
Well, I don't.
Lower.
Oh, yeah. Well, neither was I when I decided on a nice fillet. Well, I don't.
That sounds a little bit like Lou Dobbs trying to and failing to say the name of a Mexican city that had an X in it on the teleprompter.
Was he going for Oaxaca?
Yes, it was not. I don't think it was Guadalajara. I think it was Oaxaca.
Play those two together. Sorry, Dan. I don't want to do your job, but play those two back to back, please. Well, I don't. Yeah, that's too similar. That's not good.
See you later, Jason. Nice seeing you. Always good.
Great pleasure.
It sounded like great pleasure. It did. That's what it sounded like to me.
Well, I don't. I don't.
A friend forever.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. Well, we're just here to have a good time. Well, I don't.
I'm so afraid of the day we burn this bridge.
Well,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. He can't be our friend forever.
Dan's going to ask him to do something.
I mean, yeah, Dan already put a finger in his butt.
I didn't say that.
Hey, you already insinuated.
I said it wasn't the ribs.
He was a pro. He's like, the ribs.
There's all sorts of body parts.
Before I go, can we not play Operation with me? Those trees are two things. No. One, it's inappropriate. Yeah. Two, it's the game that I was worst at as a kid. The motor skills are not good on this guy to go ahead and get like the heart and the rib cage and the tweezers and all that. I'm getting PTSD on this thing. I don't like it.
Request denied.
Well, I don't.
Thank you, Jason. Good seeing you. I'm sorry about your Tigers. Can you guys tell me, because Amin's got to be delighting in this, and I imagine Greg is as well. This is really blown up in the face of Johnny Infantino, excuse me. I got his name wrong.
Well, I don't.
Did you make him Omar Infante?
Yeah. Infantino going from I'm going to sell 20% of the World Cup and get rich to now it would appear, is he going to lose his job? Like, is he begging to keep his job?
It is one of the great, almost instant comeuppances in the history of the world, certainly in the history of sports, in that this guy, like 2 weeks ago, Mike, was riding on this crazy high of the most profitable World Cup ever. He sold out everything, and he's pushing the limits of his power. Like, how far can we take this? And devises this plan to sell it all basically to private equity, which is basically the Kushner family and the Trumps by proxy. And for him to make this massive payday as the commissioner of this thing. And then one by one, and Mike, we're in the same group chat where we're like, I think he's going to do it because no one's strong enough to stand up and actually call him out on the bullshit. And yet, it happened. The unbelievable happened. The voices all spoke up of the people, and the people went through the federations, and the federations through the continental federations, and all of a sudden, it's like this guy who was at the top, the pinnacle of sports and political power, is now in a place where he's like, hey, can I meet with Marco Rubio so he can tell everyone that I'm actually a good guy? And Marco Rubio's like, we ain't meeting.
That was denied. Yeah, there was a report out there that he was turning to the Trump administration, specifically Marco Rubio, to help save his bacon. But that, I think a lot of people are realizing there's a whole big world here. And invoking this administration and having this administration as part of the private equity group, that's not a point for in the rest of the world. It's a quick way to lose friends and allies. And I think there is a world, and I do think eventually we'll get there.
Right.
I do think eventually, because $40 million to say yes, $10 million if you say no, that's a strong offer. And you're building value out of nowhere.
Oh, but this is an all-time bag fumble.
It was because it was an all-time heat check, because he was doing crazy corrupt things already with tickets. Like, there was great investigative reporting. One of the famous ways to secure votes is promise World Cups. Another thing is, as it was discovered, federations were getting tickets. You're not supposed to sell those tickets, but FIFA created the secondary market. And, if you're Gibraltar and you get 8 tickets to the World Cup final, that's a lot of dough for people that work for Gibraltar. And he was going to do the same thing with $40 million cash if you said yes. I do think that there is a world where this will happen. I think we're eventually going to get there. But he did it so where it needed to be a scalpel, he took a chainsaw to it, and he hitched his train to people that are somehow less popular than he is globally. And the rest of FIFA just showed him who's boss.
And the timing of it was just spectacularly bad. He had some goodwill from a financially successful World Cup that the world seemed to love for the most part. But then global soccer was already predisposed to hate the fact that he was in bed with Trump, that Infantino and therefore FIFA and Trump were like kissing cousins, and including the Balagon red card suspension lift. And now they're making a plan that's going to benefit Kushner and as Amin said, by extension Trump. It was just ugly from the beginning. It was Infantino versus the world, and the world won. Global soccer stood up as one. The Europe Federation is heroic for threatening a boycott.
Except for Czechia.
Yeah,
that person was,
Czechia right.
was down for it.
Yeah.
Qatar offered support. There were plenty of people that had this support, but now it's the tide is going in a direction where you have to distance yourself.
Right. I love the idea that like this thing has been thwarted and everyone rejoices and like UEFA's like we did it. Czechia's like we won.
This isn't going away. The same way that Super League constructs didn't entirely go away, and I still think that the great mistake of Super League was they did the blunt force thing that Johnny Infantino just tried to replicate. And anytime you invoke American ideals and private equity to the global game, that's not going to go well, especially with personalities attached to this private equity firm that were attached to it. But I do think this thing is going to happen in some sort of form or fashion, where they create a media company that handles their media rights, and everyone gets more money because they just stumbled upon something that has billions of dollars worth of value, and they don't actually see that much power.
Isn't it crazy if he had just done it run-of-the-mill corruption, this absolutely would have gone through. But it was just like Mike said, such a forceful level of corruption with the most corrupt of them all, right? Like, I'm not only going to do this corruption, I'm going to do it forcefully, and I'm going to do it with Mr. Corruption over here.
Vanity.
Like, we're going to do like a Batman and Robin of just corruption. That's levels and levels. Mike put it best. It was a heat check. It's like, I wonder if I can make this shot from half court lefty.
the vanity involved in this, like the FIFA presidents always seem to get this crazy ego attached, but Gianni Infantino would force himself into marketing campaigns. They would come out with like lineup tiles, and Gianni Infantino would be there crossing his arms. You'd make sure that Gianni Infantino was always pictured in every match. They'd show the FIFA president. He became the main character. He started feeling himself in ways that, when you even compare to Sepp Blatter, were beyond the pale.
To be fair, Mike, the president of FIFA is one of the legitimate most powerful men in the world, or women, if a woman ever gets to be one. Right? So it's like, there's a part of me where like, it's not hubris. The guy really is very powerful, but Icarus, there is a level where you can't fly too close to that sun, and he did.
And the level is, I'm going to do this backroom dealing with this current administration. And the UEFA almost has like a moral obligation to defend the sanctity of the game, but also we cannot Americanize this to this extent.
The irony, of course, is that private equity is already doing this in the EPL across Europe. Like, it's happening already. It's just like, not this one. We're not going to do this one.
But Mike just said back room, and it wasn't back room. That's part of the problem. And Mike just said it's going to happen. Not for Infantino, it's not. Like that.
Nope.
Like that, it may happen in some form, however shadowy it has to be, but it's not going to happen for the guy that was trying to make it happen. Someone else is going to capitalize on that idea. He's not going to get to, because the shame arrives at his doorstep in a way that made everybody find it repugnant. Like, you just don't get that kind of consensus. We knew before any of this started, we were all talking about, while you were doing a show called Morally Abhorrent, that FIFA's the most corrupt organization in the history of sports, and this is the most corrupt administration in the history of American government. Those two things combining to make it not a backdoor deal, a front door deal that everyone objected to, makes it like you got to go back into the shadows and try to pull that off. You're not going to pull it off in front of everybody's faces.
Well, you said it best, Dan. You're not going to pull it off. It might be pulled off, maybe not even that long from now, but it won't be you. It is the instant comeuppance of Gianni Infantino. And I have in front of me here a list of the top 5 comeuppances in sports history.
Whoa.
I love this
very
list.
exciting.
But I do want to correct something. This was reported on, and some people in soccer and some federations, he includes some in, he had some allies. There were some people in the know that knew this was coming, but that was also part of the blunt force mistake that Gianni Infantino made. People were finding out about this as if it was progressed all the way to the finish line. And by the way, you have 2 weeks to take this $40 million or $10 million, take it or leave it deal. He just went about it entirely the wrong way.
That part was crazy, right? That trying to rush it through. Jeremy, can you please get me, before we get to this top 5 list of comeuppances, the beyond the pale? I don't know where that expression comes from, even though I hear it all the time.
I've always wondered that one.
I've always wondered the spelling.
And also saved the bacon. I don't know why the bacon is being saved.
All right, so here we go. Save your bacon. You might think it's like, oh, bacon the food. It's not. They used to refer to bacon as skin. So human skin was referred to as bacon. It was slang for the human body. So when you were saving one's bacon, you were literally saving them from danger and saving their physical skin. It evolved over time. Bacon became a hot food commodity.
Put it on the poll
and the story goes on.
At Le Batard Show, did you know that human skin was once known as bacon?
And then you have to go further with pale. Obviously, pale derives from the Latin palus, meaning wooden stake. It also gives us, in term, impale, right? Or palisade, which is a fence made from pales, P-A-L-E. So the origin of Beyond the Pale is pretty much an open and shut case. In Ireland, English colonizers barricaded themselves from what they believed to be an uncivilized native population. There was lawlessness, and it lay outside the pale.
It's great that you knew all of that off at the top of your head. Amin, are you ready to do top 5 here?
I'm ready. OLI, dancing, watch out for the Lions, who then go on to go winless that season.
Make some noise in the playoffs is what I said, and then they became the first winless team in NFL history.
No fanfare?
Yeah!
I thought that was Greg. I thought it was Greg live. Look at that.
I thought it was too.
OLI. Me saying that the Bucks were done for, they wouldn't win a game, and they ended up not losing a game for the rest of the finals, and then I had to go be in the dunk tank.
Yeah.
Number 5, LeBron James in 2010 saying not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, all that stuff, and then losing to J.J. Barea.
Yeah.
Number 4, Ryan Braun blaming the FedEx guy for a positive test, and then turning out, yeah, he actually took it and did it.
Yeah.
The Hebrewer.
Number 3, Donald Sterling questioning why everyone's making a big deal. Magic Johnson, he has AIDS.
Yeah.
Number 2, Lance Armstrong destroying the careers of multiple people.
Yeah.
And it turns out he was cheating the whole time.
Yeah.
And the number 1 comeuppance in sports history, what's happening to Johnny Infantino right now.
Yeah.
How do you miscalculate things that poorly? Is that lack of self-awareness? Is it just ego?
Dude, everything was going right for him. All the corrupt moves were working out. He was exclusively in rooms that were pumping him up, and he was wearing the red hat at the Board of Peace meetings as if he had a high-ranking government position. I can see where the hubris got to that certain point, but it's funny. Now they've ditched him. He's no longer of service to them. This administration, hopefully, will come and go, and he's turning to them to save them. They don't have the cachet to save you. No one's going to save you. The people that could save you, you alienated in Europe.
Becky Hammond.
You're not sure this administration is going to come and go. You don't. You're not. You can't.
No.
You
That's
can't
why I
be-
said hopefully.
You can't. You can't.
I mean,
be
you
sure
don't
of
build
that.
golf courses if you're planning on leaving in 2 years.
You cannot be certain that this is going to end in a couple
You know who
of
I'm
years.
sick of? That dude that pretends to be a medical expert that tells me it's going to happen any day now. This is bona fides.
He lost it.
Yeah, you lost. 4 months came and went.
He had it?
8 months ago.
Lost it.
I've got a couple of football stories, American football stories that I want to get to, but I just want more sounds played of Jason Benetti being tickled in spots where he wasn't expecting it and is delighted by the surprise.
Well, I don't.
Against all-time African underdogs, they run up against the greatest player at the tail end of his career, still having enough for one last
Mike,
job.
let me tell you what, that 13 on Cabo, what a shot.
This is incredible.
Shot of the tournament.
A
Did you see it
world-
bend?
And how about those fans?
Did you see it
was
bend,
a
Dan?
literal movie.
It was crazy.
He runs into the sand,
Gets
finds
over.
his lady.
Boom.
That's how you end the movie, folks. That is
He was looking,
unbelievable.
and the security was like, no, go back. And he's
That's
like, no,
love.
no, where is she?
That's love right there.
She's got to know also to come down the stairs. What are you doing?
I'm the one who's doing this.
Your second topic, Zaz. Do you have another World Cuck topic?
Well, I'll tell you what. All right, I don't know why you're saying it like that. But anyway, I have other things that I want to talk about. You know what? You can't take this away from me. I don't know if you saw this past Monday night.
CM Punk returns to WWE. After months away and all sorts of rumor and innuendo, he's not on the right side with TKO, comes back in his hometown of Chicago and beats Sami Zayn, whose title reign lasts about a week. Much fanfare in Chicago.
CM Punk related to Daft Punk at all?
No, not at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but see,
Daft Punk's good, though.
Not unlike Messi, later in his career, finding top form, his body looking incredible. You know what this might set up? Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at SummerSlam.
Greg Cody Rhodes.
I'm
Hello.
going to SummerSlam. I want
There
to
you
talk
go.
about this.
Well done, Jeremy.
Your third topic, Zaslow,
gotten the
of
laugh.
this World Cuck update.
You know what? Actually, I'll allow you to call it that here because there's a movie that just came out that I want to watch. It's by our pal Billy Corbin. It's called God
That's
Forbid.
not just coming out. It's
5
the
years
most
ago.
popular documentary in the history
It
of Hulu.
just came out.
No, I mean,
Dan,
it was
you saw the
several
movie.
years
What did
ago.
you think?
It was excellent.
God
It
Yeah,
was,
why don't you have a turn here?
It went.
You got a pre-screening?
It went deeper into religious power and cuckery than I've ever seen a documentary. I didn't get an advanced
How
screening.
cliche, a pool boy.
This movie, and distinctly Cuban pool boy. Like, just not actually a pool man, a very pool boy. A Cuban kid who's not fully grown up, who was having sex with the wife of Jerry Falwell's sons,
Spoiler
the
alert.
president of Liberty University, his wife, and he liked to watch it in a corner of the room while he was wearing very little clothing.
This is why it's called World Cup.
All right, get back in this seat here. Get back in the seat here that is a prominently featured seat. That concludes our first ever World Cup update. Tony's about to leave because he's headed to go see if he can talk to Giannis and Bobby Portis, but I think there's a problem in that these guys are doing a lot of media today, and I heard Zaz grumbling because I think that...
Dan, I'm sitting at the table out there. You know, we're doing production stuff. I'm finishing my bagel. Tony's finishing it. Tony gets a huge plate every morning for breakfast. If you're wondering all the money that's being spent here at breakfast, Tony has one of everything every morning. Okay, whatever.
What?
Yeah. I look at your plate, you got everything.
I got a little bit of egg, a little bit of bacon, and a little bit of potato. What's wrong with that?
Sausage?
No.
Yes.
Not today. Not today.
Anyway, he's finishing his plate. I'm finishing my bagel. All right. And I say, yo, I'm getting Bobby Portis today on Zaslow Show 2.0. And he says, yeah, I'm getting Bobby Portis too. I'm going to the arena. I go, okay, cool. What time? He goes, 2 o'clock. I go, I'm scheduled for 2 o'clock.
We're both scheduled for 2 o'clock. Guess who's going to get him?
Me.
I'm going to be in person.
I was a broadcaster for the Miami Heat radio network for 12
What have you done for
years.
me lately, Eddie?
You've done nothing ever for
What
that.
are you talking about? I was just at Heat camp.
I
You
have-
insane? You nuts, man?
I have 2 championship rings. I'm a champion
I'm trying
broadcaster.
to bring more championships over there.
He was a proud member of the Junior Heat.
Okay, we'll see. I'm going to get him. They're going to give him to me before you. And you know what? It's going to be extra insulting for you because you're actually going to be there in person. I don't need to go in person. I'm going to be right here. And they're going to call me on the stream, on a video link. And they're going to give him to me before you. You know what?
Yeah.
He's going to be on video with me. You're going to be standing next to him waiting.
If that happens, I'm
That's
going to
what's gonna
derail
happen.
the interview.
That's what's going to
I'm
happen.
going to derail the interview.
I dare you to do that.
Neither of you are going to get him if I ask for him.
Ooh!
No, but you're going to be here. Who cares?
If we're being honest here, since you joined the broadcast, team's on no winning. Okay, so I don't know.
They went to
about-
the finals my very first season.
Again, no winning.
You were an ancillary piece.
No winning.
They hoisted babies because
You
of
were
me.
an ancillary piece. Come on.
So I don't know what you're bragging about.
You were
over there.
behind Hewitt on the depth chart.
Okay, Hewitt. I only got to do it because Kirsten Hewitt left.
Do it, Hewitt.
Do it, Hewitt.
What do you think is going to be the end result here, Mike? Because
I already told you. Wasn't predictions.
And be like, Zazzle's going to get pushed back. We're gonna
I don't
do
think
this.
any of us get him.
That would be a big surprise because they told me I got him.
I will 1,000% have him on Zaslow Show 2.0 today.
All right, Dan, I'm going to go get Bobby Portis.
No. Your appointment's not till 2 o'clock.
No, I'm getting there at 11:30. Doors open at 11:30. I'm going to be there right now.
You know what? That's just more time you're going to be standing around and waiting because you're going to be standing next to Bobby Portis. Waiting.
I'm telling you, call him Bobby Portis. You're done, Portis. Somebody cut that for me.
That never happened. How dare you? How dare you?
let's go to another, though, Argentinian call because there is blatant homerism involved with these calls. This is Pablo Giralt.
Otro centro más de Messi va pasado. A ver que le pega Messi al arco. ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! ¡2-2! ¡Aquí está el campeón del mundo! ¡Aquí está el campeón del mundo! ¡Vamos Argentina de mi vida! ¡Nunca quedarse por vencido! ¡2-2! ¡Vamos Leo de mi vida! ¡Vamos leyenda! ¡Leo de mi vida y mi corazón! ¡Vamos leyenda! ¡Vamos Leo viejo nomás! ¡Vamos Leo viejo nomás! 2-2 Juan Pablo! ¡Esto no ha terminado! ¡No termina hasta que suene la campana, compañero! 2-2!
So some of you might want a translation, and I'm pretty sure I heard in there your mother's a slut.
I think I heard MFer there.
Amongst others.
But did he actually say Puta madre. Did I hear that?
I thought I heard that, which I can't believe.
We might need a replay on it just to
All
get
right,
ears
well,
on it again.
Well, Tony, you're going to have to, I'm going to need your help here. You translate as much as you can. Let's get all the Spanish we got in the room because it happens very fast here. But I heard your mother's a slut in the middle of that, and that seems like not what Al Michaels would have done during a historic 1980s call for the U.S. Olympic team.
Do you believe in miracles, motherfucker?
Do you believe in miracles? Puta madre. Let me see if I've got this right. Let's write as much of this down as we can.
Otro centro más de Messi va pasado. A ver que le pega Messi al arco. ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! ¡Vamos Argentina, carajo! 2-2. Aquí está el campeón del mundo. Acá está el campeón del mundo. Vamos Argentina de mi vida. Nunca quedarse por vencido. 2-2. Vamos Leo de mi vida. Vamos leyenda. Leo de mi vida y mi corazón. Vamos leyenda. Vamos Leo viejo nomás. Vamos Leo viejo nomás. 2-2 Juan Pablo. Esto no ha terminado. No termina hasta que suene la campana, compañero. 2-2.
Jeremy, that's a professional broadcaster.
No, you're right. I felt it.
So never in my life, my heart. He said, let's bleeping go 2-2. And I'm pretty sure he said carajo 3 times.
There was
3
carajos.
What's that mean?
3 carajos?
Carajo's like,
This one's tough to translate.
How do I explain it to you?
Carajo is a difficult
Carajo's
one. It's like holy shit.
Yeah.
But it's got multiple meanings. Yeah.
Because it could mean super far.
I wish we could say things like
Also
that on
mean
Broadway.
hell.
Like something awesome happens. Like when Ray Allen hit the shot, Mike Ingles should have said, "Holy shit!" That'd be great. You could say something like that.
I don't think you can say what he did.
Rebound to Bosch. Back out to Allen. Bang, motherfucker!
That sounds like puta madre.
No, it is.
That's exactly what he said.
You can't say that.
I mean, come on.
If there's ever a time.
That's his Miracle on Ice.
Let's try and define, though, carajo for a second, because casa carajo is, you need the casa to say it's far away.
How do you spell it?
Carajo.
So carajo, the original meaning for carajo was on a old Spanish galleon boat, right? You'd have the crow's nest on top where you'd look to see where land is. That's called el carajo. So people would be like, vete pa'l carajo, which is go far away, up to the crow's nest to go see if there's land.
So in context, what's he saying?
Carajo is a highly versatile and vulgar Spanish interjection. Its exact meaning spans from damn or hell to fuck, depending heavily on the Spanish-speaking region and the context in which it's used.
Carson Beck with his legs, motherfucker!
I don't know if we have it right that Joe Mack is one of the greatest names ever for a catcher. I believe that between all of us, we can come up with many names for a catcher better than Joe Mack. Start putting your lists together. We will see who it is that we go to here. You guys tell me who's got a better list of 5 catcher names than Joe Mack. We will see if we can temper some of Greg Cody's enthusiasm about this. He sounds a little bit breathless on the inside and wanting to get to this. But
He and Jerry Lee Lewis, breathless. I actually have a top 5 with 6 OLI. Does that set a record for OLI? Is that too many?
Just the top 10 with 1
it
OLI.
could be a top 10.
What's your favorite Jerry Lee Lewis fact?
My favorite fact?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't mean that he married his 12-year-old cousin? I mean, I'm not gonna
That's
go
not my
there.
favorite,
Okay.
but keep going.
That's your favorite, huh?
That's your favorite.
No, that's probably the most.
You were saying, like, you don't mean that's your favorite. That's not my favorite.
That's the most notorious thing about him.
His nickname was the Killer.
Yeah, right.
Because he might have been.
Yeah, might have been.
My favorite was when he drove drunk and he crashed into the gates of Graceland. And the police asked him what he was doing there, and he's like, I'm here to kill Elvis. And I'm pretty sure he meant it.
Different time.
It was a different time.
Took me a second to realize you guys weren't talking about Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Flavin.
George Jones was once arrested for driving drunk on a mower, on a lawnmower.
Yeah. Didn't Bill Murray get a citation on something?
A golf cart.
Yeah.
Can you give me the history of George Jones, and can you get me, please, the Back in My Day music so that we can be in the wheelhouse of Greg Cody as he tells us all it is that he wishes to tell us about George Jones?
George Jones was a country music legend. Died fairly recently, I would say within the past 6-7 years. He sang one of the greatest country songs of all time called He Stopped Loving Her Today. He was considered a little bit of an outlaw artist, although not like some of the others, not like Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings and guys like that. But he was legendary. He was a great songwriter. He had a velvety voice, classic country voice, one of my all-time favorites. Never got to see him live.
What's the opposite of a velvety voice? What is the
I would say
direct
the opposite of a velvety voice would be
about to throw up.
Would be gravelly. Would be the opposite of velvety.
You just stumbled through all of that. George Jones died 13 years ago.
13, you boy, time flies, doesn't it? He stopped loving her today. And let a wreath upon his door. All right. Anybody want my list of baseball catcher names?
Yes. These are the best that there have ever been, or these are better than Joe Mack, or is Joe Mack
Well, I can make him a top 10 with one
Yeah,
OLI.
let's do that. For the name of efficiency, who in the shipping container is going to handle the competing top 5 list? Is it going to be Jeremy? Who's it going to be?
Well, I got one.
Okay. It'll be Roy then.
Okay.
Your first and only OLI.
Joe Mack. Yeah.
Number 10.
Johnny Bench.
Yeah. That's a good one. Number 9.
Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah. 8.
Clay Dalrymple.
Yeah. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Clay Dalrymple one of the great catcher names of all time?
You gotta love Clay.
I can't believe
a catcher
that's
named
that
Clay.
high.
Come on.
In the clay. He's in the dirt right there. I got
squatting
you.
on the clay,
Yeah.
baby. All right, where were? Is that 7 or?
Yes,
okay.
you're on 7, I think.
10,
I agree
9,
with
8,
the-
7. 10, 9, 8. 7 was Clay Dalrymple. Yeah.
I think that was 8.
Oh yeah,
No, it
yeah.
wasn't.
10, 9.
It's confusing because they were all OLIs
Yes,
before.
that's
It was
right.
Joe Mack was
8.
OLI.
Right.
Okay,
So-
7 is Clay Dalrymple.
Nope,
That's
that was
number
8.
That was 8. That was number 8.
It was Mack was
Oh yeah.
OLI
Okay,
bench.
8. Okay, 8.
Because you think 10 minus 3 is 7, so I get where you're
The
thinking.
catcher. 8 is Dalrymple. 7, Ernie the Schnoz Lombardi.
Wait a minute.
What?
Just wait a minute.
It was a nickname back then.
Schnoz.
What's wrong with that? Supposedly his nose was so big it hit the face mask. Ernie Lombardi played in the
Schnoz.
30s and 40s. Was that 7 or 6? I don't have numbers.
You're alleging, just to be clear. Hold on a second.
Okay, hang on.
Please look up for me, Jeremy.
It's a big nose,
yeah.
Dan.
I'd like a picture. I'd like a photograph of Ernie the Schnoz Lombardi. I'd also like as many details as you can give me about the career of Ernie the Schnoz Lombardi. I believe he just chose that to use the nickname the Schnoz. That is not a great catcher.
It's a great catcher.
Great catcher.
Yeah.
And great catcher name.
Yeah. Ernie the Schnoz Lombardi.
They probably just in the day would say the schnoz.
You think he's Italian?
Number 7. Oi. Okay, should I continue? Number 6, Al Backstop.
That's
not real. Like,
Number 5.
I love the casual.
You're
Oh,
gonna,
we got the schnoz. Hey, we got the schnoz here.
I mean, you're going to believe that Al Backstop is the real name for a catcher.
Why would Greg Cody ever lie to me?
Right, there's the Schnoz.
My God, that's quite the schnoz.
Quite the nickname.
Look
Yeah.
at him. He looks like he just heard us say, "That's your name," and he's like, "Yeah."
Could have called him the gut as well.
Grandpa?
And a great catcher, though. Okay, don't overlook that. Now, so number 7, Ernie the Schnoz Lombardi. Number 6, Al Backstop. Number 5, Mitt Romney.
Wait, what?
Mitt.
You don't remember?
Right. Mitt Romney. Why do you think he got the nickname? Number 4, Smokey Burgess. Number 3, Tools of Ignorance.
Oh my God! Remember that one season he had?
Yeah, I do.
What did Al Backstop?
What an asshole I am for looking up Al Backstop.
Just to be clear, are you claiming that Of is his middle name? Or are you saying that it says across the back of his jersey his first name is Tools?
Right, that's a nickname, Tools. And his last name is Of Ignorance. And that's how that phrase, the nickname for catchers used to be referred to as their equipment was the Tools of Ignorance because of that guy.
Romanian.
That's number 3. Number 2, Scrap Iron Courtney.
Oh man, let me tell you something. You could not steal a base around Scrap Iron Courtney.
Right on. Right on. See, that came organically. Thank you, Phil Hendry.
Right on.
And number 1, Yogi Berra. Okay.
Hey, boo-boo.
I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yogi Bear's a real one, Dan. It's not just a cartoon character. It's a real guy.
Can you give me number 3 and number 2 again when you're done drinking victoriously
Yes.
from your thermos?
Number vigorously as well. Number 3 was Tools of Ignorance. And number 2 is Scrap Iron Courtney.
Chris, can you look up for me Scrap Iron Courtney?
I already looked up Al Backstop.
No,
and I feel like
that
an
one's
idiot,
fake.
so-
I told you that one was fake. Tools of Ignorance is also fake. I just need a ruling on Scrap Iron because I thought that was Phil Garner's nickname. I did not know that there was any other baseball player nicknamed Scrap Iron, but I also did not know that there was ever a baseball player nicknamed the Schnoz either.
Clinton Dawson Courtney, nicknamed Scrap Iron Courtney.
So you sat here.
You're welcome.
You sat here all kind of skeptical. Like, here's Greg Cody messing around about. Nope. He was giving you gems. He was trying to, you know what? The others.
They all learn from me.
Thank you.
Thank you for that setup.
I'd like some more before we get to Roy's list here. I need some more information on the Schnoz, please.
Ernesto Natali Lombardi. Okay, so he had nicknames including Schnoz, Lumbago, Bocci, and the Cyrano of the Iron Mask. He's a Hall of Famer.
Where from Sicily?
He's a Hall of Famer, okay? But then there's also a huge moment that happened to him in the World Series called Lombardi's Big Snooze. So as it goes, in the 39 World Series, it's the 10th inning. The score is tied. There's a runner on first and third. Joe DiMaggio singles. 1 run scores. And then the Reds outfielder, Eval Goodman, fumbles the ball. Yankees right fielder Charlie Keller, known for his sturdy physique, beats the throw to the catcher Lombardi and inadvertently hit the Schnoz in his groin. So unfortunately for the Reds and Lombardi, he's scrambling for the ball. He didn't wear a protective cup. He's pained. He's dazed. DiMaggio rounds the bases and heads for home. And it turns out that Ernie the Schnoz Lombardi was Bill Buckner before Bill Buckner and was blamed for the Yankees ultimately winning that World Series.
The Schnoz is guilty of the snooze.
Yeah.
The Schnoz is guilty. What is the Serrano of what? What was it? What was
The Serrano of the Iron Mask.
That is a terrible nickname.
That's a great
Oh, I
nickname.
think
What are you
it's
talking
great.
about?
Sounds like a superhero.
Put it on the
that
poll,
guy.
that or the
Cyrano
Schnoz?
de Bergerac, who had a huge nose in the Iron Mask. Well, 2 literary references there. I'm well read.
A little too high end for Dan Le Batard, apparently. He wants nicknames like the Schnoz.
I mean, we had Edgar Allan Poe cited earlier in the show today. This has been a very literary show featuring the Schnoz, snoozing. The Serrano of the Iron Mask is absolutely too long of a nickname.
Great.
It's not a good nickname.
It's
Put it on the poll at Le Batard
His
Show.
life takes a dark turn.
Is the Serrano of the Iron Mask darker than snoozing as the Schnoz?
Don't ask details. Just
Take not one you're going to want to know about, but blood transfusions were involved.
Cyrano, right?
Oh, I didn't know
probably
that.
Cyrano.
About the
Cyrano,
Schnoz.
my bad.
Yeah. No,
The
it
Bergerac.
was his. He made him a major league character.
He made him
That's exactly what happened.
Shea Serrano.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, no, big nose.
An insurance salesman, right? Serrano, doesn't he do insurance?
Are you in good hands?
With Jobu.
He's also the president.
The Jimmy Durante of baseball.
I didn't think the show could get older. I really didn't think that it could get older than what we were just doing.
You're
But
welcome.
a hot cha-cha-cha from Jimmy Durante takes us back into what is it? What year is Jimmy Durante? Are we talking about more than a century ago on Jimmy Durante, or are we talking about something in the 40s, in the range of the 40s? Roy, give me your top 5 list, please. Do you have any OLI on catcher names that you enjoy better and bigger than all of Cody's?
No, we're starting with number 5 with Drake Baldwin.
Right on. Who?
Drake Baldwin is the Braves catcher.
Yep. Number 4.
Number 4, Charles Johnson.
Right on.
Wow.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Are you?
I mean, are you going to be able to get to 5? Are you going to?
Yes, I am.
I don't think you're going to be.
Not in modern baseball.
Charles Johnson.
There was a gap from those two catchers to each other.
Charles Johnson. Number 3.
You ever get the feeling that you wanted to go, or still got the feeling that you wanted to say, hey, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Josh Gibson.
Right on.
Oh yeah, I was considering him for my list. Didn't quite make it.
Your list didn't have any of the flavor that Roy's list has.
What are you talking about?
If the schnoz was Sicilian, he was getting some of that.
Number 2.
Roy Campanella.
Right on. That's not a real name.
That is real. He was the Dodgers
That
catcher.
is. That's a great
from
catcher and a great
Jackie
name.
Robinson's
That
time.
is a good name.
Schnoz was born in Oakland. My man.
Number 1.
Moses Fleetwood Walker.
Right on.
Wow. Fleetwood Joe Mack.
No. What? No.
No, yes.
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 There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, Roy.
Yes.
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 Jeremy, give me some information on Jimmy Durante and just how old it is that we have skewed over the course.
By the mid-1920s, Durante had become a vaudeville star and radio personality, playing with Luke Clayton and Eddie Jackson.
Look at that schnoz. Look.
You got to do it with the cigar.
I can't
I'm
believe.
just a voice. Yeah.
I can't believe what just happened here. So every once in a while, I'm reminded that Amin Al-Hassan is becoming, in front of our eyes, a bit of an ancient person. Last week, he was telling me about watching War Games, the 1984 movie War Games, with his kids.
Never really got into that, by the way, which is very interesting. Most people would say, oh, there's no way your kids wanted to watch War Games. Well, surprise, they don't get to watch what they want. They get to watch what I tell them to watch. But here's the thing. They watched it and they enjoyed it because War Games, as it turns out, is incredibly relevant now. So for those who don't know, back in 1983-84, Matthew Broderick, Dabney Coleman, Ali Sheedy, they make this movie called War Games, which is about the U.S. government having, at the time, when you had to fire nukes off, they had people, they got to turn keys and put in codes and then hit a button. And so what was happening was like a third of these people tasked on launching nukes would fail the tests that they didn't know were tests because guess what? It's pretty stressful to think if I hit this button, 20 million people are going to die somewhere. So the idea was, what if we took the decision-making out of human hands and had this computer that would just do the calculations and launch the code, launch the nukes. And so it was called the Whopper. But that's basically what we're doing now. My kids are like, this is like AI. I'm like, as a matter of fact, it is. It's the idea that human decision-making is flawed and the computer would never make a mistake except, of course, humans program the Whopper, program the AI, which means it always has inherent risks.
Durante was an active member of the Democratic Party, appeared in a short film, Give a Man a Job, in 1933 to support the New Deal.
So this idea that, like, we're seeing this now more and more, right, where we're taking...
You're aware Lincoln was a Republican.
We're taking decision-making out of the hands of people, like, for instance, in hiring practices. A lot of companies just use AI to mow through resumes without actually getting to know these candidates any more than a few keywords, but there are inherent biases in the programming that makes this a faulty process. And so I tell you right now, Dan Le Batard, yes, it looks grainy. Yes, Matthew Broderick looks ridiculous in his outfit and the way he walks and everything. Yes, Ali Sheedy's still hot, but it is very relevant to today.
Near the end of his life, in 1962, he performed at Madison Square Garden alongside Marilyn Monroe's Happy Birthday to the President.
Wow!
How about that?
When you say that it is very stressful, I have found that in general, I mean, while he's doing this fossilizing aging, is being made to age even faster because working next to Pablo and doing stories with Pablo is stressful. Can you walk us through what's going on with you and the amount of stress that Pablo is causing in your life? Because Pablo Torre finds out has exploded as a popular podcast, but as I've mentioned to you guys a number of different ways, he's doing it the hardest way. He's doing the hardest thing the hardest way, which is he's accumulating audience by doing something literally no one else is doing. Like, it's just work that he's decided to do, and people are gathering around the trough because there is an appreciation for what he's making and the degree of difficulty on how he's making it. What's happened with recent stresses and you and Pablo?
So I just flew in this morning from New York. I was in New York yesterday. I did Pablo's show for an episode that's going to come out. I'm embargoed. I cannot tell you what it's about. All I can tell you is, holy freaking shit. Like, that's that's my takeaway from doing this episode. And so their stress comes from two different places. There's an internal stress and an external stress. The internal stress is I don't know what I can and can't say about anything ever, because it's like, is this going to be in the episode? Is this one of the parts that's going to get cut out? We already did one last week that came out, the RIFC episode, and that one got a lot of murmuring around the nation and around the sport. But it's like, okay, how much of this can I talk about? Because there were things that were cut out of that episode that I thought were going to be central parts of the episode. So I'm stressed from that level. Right now, I'm like, oh, wait, what can I say? What can I not say? But then the other stress, Dan, is I got to see these people. Pablo gets to sit in his ivory tower, making calls and reading paper and making people flip open pages. I have to be out in the world, going to NBA events, seeing these people, and then just being like, hey, guys, what's up? And so that can be a source of stress as well. Although it is very nice. Yesterday, me and Pablo went for a nice walk after the episode, and we got stopped in the street by a guy who said, hey, love the work you guys do.
Will you walk us through what's happening as you...
Give me your watch, because you're in New York.
Mom Donnie's New York.
When you're running into people, what is the stress of doing good work, well done, meticulously checked, factually accurate?
Well, it's when it's the people that you're investigating. They tend to not really take great joy in the level of thoroughness of an investigation that is basically spurred on by us. Like, whatever Wachtell is doing, they are following in our footsteps.
That part has been interesting to me in that the NBA is probably paying a lot of money for a law firm that's sitting around watching Pablo's episodes because he's got this story buttoned down from so many different angles that no one else can get close to the information that he has, even if they have more access than he's got.
Well, the funny part is, as we learned in a previous episode, it's Ballmer that's paying the money.
There are a number of things here that I think people would find fascinating, but the idea that you're saying now, without over-promising, because you don't want to take any of the steam out of what Pablo's doing, where does this rank in all of the holy shits that you have had holy shits around the reporting of this story?
In my estimation, this is the biggest one since the first episode.
Whoa! Do you guys realize, though, how on top of a story you have to be for you to be able to have the information so securely that you're, in today's times where everything moves so fast, that you can sit there and tape something a couple of days ago and just hold it because you know no one else is going to get close to the information that you have because you've got that corner so secured?
I've said sometimes you comment on why isn't the rest of the media writing about this and following this story, and I think it's because the story is so unique to Pablo and his show. You can't follow it, and unless all you're doing is aggregating Pablo, you can't follow this because you don't have the sources to come up with anything significantly new.
I want to ask Amin, though, what did you make of the ESPN.com story that they tried to play as their top story one day that was simply sources saying the Kawhi investigation might go on until 2027? And in that story, this part, I was like, what? Like, how flimsy is this? In that story, there is the idea expressed that Ballmer has to agree to the terms on what his punishment is, when I'm sitting here and saying whenever someone in sports does something wrong, they're not allowed to be a part of the punishment process as part of, well, maybe we can settle or negotiate something here.
So Dan, this is, it's not a court of law, but I'm going to compare it to a court of law. The DA wants a victory. They want convictions. They don't want to go to trial. They just want this thing to go away. So if they can get you to plead down, they'd rather do that than go to trial. So in essence, what the NBA would love to do is have the Clippers and have Steve Ballmer agree, okay, maybe we've colored outside the lines. We're not going to go into this full crazy arbitration thing where more documents are going to come out and more kind of dirty laundry is going to be aired. Just take the L and accept this milder punishment rather than have us go through this process. The problem is Steve Ballmer, like many rich, powerful people, is saying, but I did nothing wrong, so why would I ever plead guilty to something I never did? We're going to go to trial. And so that's kind of where they are as far as trying to, it's not about getting Steve Ballmer to agree to his own punishment or dictate his own punishment. It's just about, hey, can we get this thing over and wrapped with at a level that we feel like is a real punishment, but also isn't overly draconian.
Ernie the Schnoz won the batting title in 1942, which another catcher didn't do until Joe Mauer in 2006.
I mean, how rare do you think it is what we're talking about here, where someone has done something allegedly wrong, something that has to be punished? That person is so powerful in sports that we have to check with him to see if he's okay with what our punishment is, because what he can do, instead of appealing something, which is always in play, but not before the punishment makes an appearance, that before the punishment makes an appearance, someone is so powerful that they can negotiate on the front end a settlement, because it's not a court of law, but also because of the amount of power and money that they have that can create a leverage even if they're 100% wrong.
I think, Dan, the best comp I can come up with from a legal setting would be the sexual harassment lawsuit that the Knicks dealt with 20 years ago. And everyone, all the lawyers told Jim Dolan, just settle. Just settle. Pay Anuka Brown Sanders off. Make it go away. Let's not get into the stuff. But Jim Dolan was adamant, like, there's nothing wrong. Nothing happened here. We're innocent. This is just frivolous. We're going to trial. They go to trial, and they lose the trial. And so not only do they have to pay Anuka Brown Sanders, but also all of this dirty laundry, all this weird stuff happening behind the scenes at Madison Square Garden comes out. Jim Dolan was rich and powerful, and it wasn't about like, hey, we have to check with him. It's about how can we make this thing go away? It doesn't matter whether you're exonerated like I did nothing or whether you have something stuck to you. The idea is, how can we make this go away? What Adam Silver wants more than anything is for this to go away. It's not. He does not want to make an example out of Steve Ballmer. He wants this thing to go away, but he can't let him off the hook completely, because then everyone, you're eating away at the integrity of the game. Like, basically, these guys did all this crazy stuff, and there's no punishment, so you can't have that. But also, you can't have a pound of flesh, because all that does is it prolongs this process, it makes the league look worse, and then also it actively antagonizes Steve Ballmer in a way that he, like, again, by all accounts, pretty nice guy, well-liked by the other owners, well-liked by the players, well-liked by the fans. Do we really want to weaponize him and turn him against us as a guy like who's got a craw in his boot? Is that what it's called?
I have no idea what you're trying to do there. A craw in his boot? That makes no sense. And it should be a pound of bacon, not a pound of flesh, based on today's conversation. The idea, though, that a owner, I know this is not groundbreaking, but that an owner has this kind of power and money, and no athlete in the history of sports has the kind of power to do this to a punishment if he is indeed guilty of something. There has never been an athlete that has this kind of power and money, even though there have been plenty of athletes who have power and money, where you can play around with the idea of, you're not going to make me as guilty as you want to make me here because I'm just simply going to make a mess for you.
I don't think this guy is really moneyed or powerful, but I would say that John Morant discipline was kind of like this, where it was like, well, we'll just have him talk to people. I was one of the loudest voices saying, look, you throw him the book. You give him everything. Suspend him 45 games, whatever. And then what's going to happen is the PA will come back and say, this is outrageous, da-da-da. And then they'll go to arbitration, and then they'll cut it back down to like 7 games or whatever.
This is what happens with red-eye flights. You're throwing him the book, which is not that expression, and I still don't know what you were trying to do with a craw and a boot. Like, can you explain to me explain to anybody in the audience, as someone who's a professional communicator, what you were going for with the craw in the boot?
Like something that's bothering him.
Stuck in the craw? Stuck in my craw? Is that what you were going for?
I guess.
Why was there a boot there?
There's something with a boot. Isn't there like an expression?
There's a snake in my boot.
Maybe it's a crawfish in the boot.
Maybe it sounds like something from the bayou. Sounds like a southern saying.
Yeah, crawfish. Eat the heads.
But what's the boot? There's something with a boot. So there's something in my boot.
Jeremy said it. It's
Toy Story.
It's Woody.
Snake in my boot?
I don't know. It came
One
out
of
of
his
your
sayings
mouth.
when you pull his string.
But it came out of your mouth and out of your head. I don't know what you were going for there. I don't understand why there was a boot and a craw and why it made no sense, and you're a professional communicator.
I think Chris has it. Say that again.
The saying is something gets stuck in your craw, and then there's a snake in your boot.
Those are
From
two
Woody.
different things.
Right. He combined the two.
What happens if they both happen at the same time, Dan? You're really antagonized at that point. Mike is going to make me throw up, by the way.
I've smelt a couple of these.
thing-
He's like 2 feet from me when he does this.
The thing that is funniest about this, okay, is that for the people who know, okay, if you listen to the Greg Cody show featuring Greg Cody.
Yeah, thank you.
With
Greg Cody. The fact that Greg Cody, when he belches, either belches and finishes inexplicably with the word Brad, or sometimes belches, and I don't know when he does it. I don't know why he chooses.
Wipe.
When he ends a belch with the word ass wipe.
We also discovered we caught one in the wild last recording. He did a yike. Sometimes it can just be yike. Those are the ones where he doesn't feel it coming. The ass wipes, the Brads, he can feel them coming and he prepares them. When they just come out of nowhere, yike.
How long? Which is older, the Brad at the end of a belch or the ass wipe at the end of a belch?
They're all organic, all three of them. There's a fourth.
What?
You're not going to answer my question.
What's the fourth?
You're just going to.
No, I
Dan,
can't.
don't bury the lead.
I don't know the fourth.
They all come naturally. Everybody says it sounds like I'm saying the word Brad, like I'm saying a name Brad. Obviously, I'm not, but the sound, which is organic and unintentional, often sounds like the name Brad to some ears.
Greg, what's the fourth?
I can't reveal that because it might be in the top 10.
Whoa!
I'm not saying it is.
Oh.
But it might be.
The chat is saying that your hair today is giving there's something about Mary vibes.
I don't know what that means.
That it looks like you might have some product in the front of your hair. keeping it
Product,
up.
is that what we're calling it?
I'm trying to be.
Someone did produce it.
You don't know what we're talking about?
That's a great example of him being terrible with movies, not knowing that reference.
Something About Mary. There's one scene, well, I guess there are a couple of scenes in Something About Mary that are
I know the famous line. I'll have what she's having or something
That's
like that.
Harry Met Sally.
Oh.
That happens Something About Mary, too.
Sorry.
It's right before the hair scene.
Okay.
There are two scenes in Something About Mary that I think are the most memorable scenes, both of them in and around that particular bathroom.
Here's looking at you, kid.
That's Jimmy Durante.
That's right.
I can't believe the amount of time we've spent on Jimmy Durant. Jeremy, do you have do you have any more?
Oh God, do I, Dan?
Schnoz facts.
Ernie the Schnoz went to a high school that was later attended by 5 other sports Hall of Famers: Kurt Flood, Vada Pinson, Frank Robinson, Bill Russell, and Paul Silas. Also, MC Hammer went there. What a high school!
Wait a minute. Is that Oakland?
Yeah. That's Oakland. Ernie the Schnoz.
So the Schnoz went
really should have been on Roy's list.
He went to a black high school?
He went to a black high school,
I
Dan.
told you he was Sicilian. I mean, Mike told you he was Sicilian.
Baker Mayfield is not quite making a mess in Tampa, but Baker Mayfield, going back to our Mario Cristobal conversation and how surprised I am when organizations just simply do the right thing because someone has earned for them to do the right thing. A little harder to do when you have a salary-capped sport. But Baker Mayfield, I think, has exceeded every expectation in Tampa. Do you think that I have that wrong? Yes or no, Greg?
Yes. Yes. Because the bar was low when he got there.
Man, the bar was Tom Brady. But I understand. Expectations were he came in as a prove-it guy, battle it out. We have Kyle Trask here. We'll see who becomes a quarterback. But he was the quarterback immediately following Tom Brady.
But I meant the career bar for Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield was a game from being out of the league. He was playing on the practice squad at Carolina. They had him on the defensive line just screwing around. Then he goes and spends a night game with McVay and reinvents himself. I remember having the arguments with Mike Ryan where I'm saying it's not fair what's happening with Baker Mayfield at the end of his career in Cleveland, where they're making him or he's choosing to play injured because the expectations are so high and he's going to harm his career. He was this close from no longer being able to be a starter, and now he wants Tampa to give him his money. And in this situation, every quarterback does get paid. Why is Tampa not giving him his money?
So you mentioned that Baker Mayfield is kind of, you added a question inflection to it. Is he making a mess? I don't think he is. Like he's just talking about a contract. He is entering lame duck status. It's weird. It's weird. And I heard Zaz's take on the matter, and I'm not here to disagree or agree as to whether or not Baker Mayfield is elite. I don't even think he's elite. I think he's really good. He's 12th in the league in QBR. Right now he's making the 16th highest salary at that position. And it's not about whether or not you're elite, whether or not you're worth the money. Anytime in NFL history, when you have a quarterback who's coming off his 3 best career years, entering the prime of his career, they get paid. They get paid. It doesn't matter if they're a top 5. We've had these discussions dating back to Joe Flacco, Kirk Cousins several times over.
Tua got paid.
When you're in that tier, you get the money. And more than the money, you get the years. They're offering them 2 years, which is insulting if you're Baker Mayfield. And I would take tremendous exception to that if I were Baker Mayfield, because what more does he have to prove? Could he have been a little bit better last year? Yeah, there were a ton of injuries that he tried his best to overcome. But he's been really good for them.
It feels like a meme next to you is being Floyd Smirnish. He's being the translator for the deaf with his hands next to Mike. But I don't understand what it is that you're doing because you're not doing sign language.
If I was doing that, then I would have been like, he's dealing with a lot of injuries.
Should Baker get his money?
Yes.
If the precedent, so why isn't he getting his money?
I can't answer that. And the 2-year contract offer is as insulting as the lack of money. He's not a top-tier quarterback, but he's a second-tier quarterback, and that's enough to get your money. Look what the Dolphins, who aren't spending, gave Malik Willis. I mean,
the Dolphins are one of the teams that would be interested in a Baker Mayfield if he hits the open market. And we talked about this with Mario Cristobal. You run the risk of insulting the player. And if there was ever a player to harbor a grudge and feel like some type of way about being disrespected to the point of maybe even sacrificing dollars, it's probably that Pitbull.
Bill James referred to Lombardi as the slowest man to ever play Major League Baseball well because by the end of his career, he was 6'3", 300 pounds.
Everybody knows. Everyone, that's what I say.
Say it then.
That is such bullshit.
Do you guys hear what Pat Riley said?
What do you say? That's my phrase.
Hey, stop stealing Greg's catchphrase.
No, that was entirely different.
You're effing with me now, right? You're effing with me.
I've heard Greg say that countless times.
Because I'm going to be honest with you. The other one that you stole of mine, which was what? That was.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
He didn't steal that from me.
Right. Like, that's bullshit enough, all right? But I honestly, I don't believe that you actually knew that I said that, even though everyone knows that's what I'm talking about. That's one of my go-to phrases.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Fine, you complete ignorance on that. Whatever. Okay, it's still stupid. But this time, there's no way.
What do you say?
Stop saying that. There's no way that you don't know that that is mine. You're effing with me now.
I've never heard you say it. I'm asking you to say it right now. You refuse to.
I just said it.
Say it again.
What do you say?
Similar to mine.
You're right. The similarity is it's my phrase and you've stolen it.
Okay.
That's the similarity.
Okay, Christopher will tell you how many years I've been saying that.
Yeah, it must be a coincidence.
Brings me back to my childhood hearing him say that.
What did he say?
You see what's happened here? You had your list which originally started at 50, and then you've been able to add to it because you're stealing other people's phrases. You're like Carlos Mencia.
Oh my God.
That's what just happened. You're like a comedian who is stealing other people's stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. That's my bit.
So you claim
that's my gimmick.
What, that one?
Well, 2 so far. I can't wait to hear the other 17.
What else do you say?
Well, I'm sure.
What else do you know?
Show everybody your list. I'm sure you're going to find out a few more.
Okay, I didn't know you were associated with what he say.
This is shocking. Everything that's happening here is shocking. It seems like Chris Cody is secretly enjoying this. He is laughing. He doesn't laugh this way.
I'm sure you're involved somehow too, by the way. You're not an innocent bystander.
Pretty heavy line from Zaz.
Seriously.
From me.
Yeah, you're jealous. It's his catchphrase.
Right.
Countdown.
You're right. I am jealous. I'm jealous that my phrase is being stolen by someone
It's not yours.
and using it on their podcast, which we know that has become a thing on his podcast for people to listen to get more viewers, to get more listeners. Yes, I am jealous that my stuff is being taken and it is essentially you're reaping financial rewards.
You basically feel the way musicians feel about Spotify.
Yeah, you're Napster.
Napster. That's
right.
an old phrase. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
You're Napster.
Right in your face. Right in your face.
What did he say?
Singing this. Oh, my God.
They're not even similar the way I say it and the way he says it.
You're Napster. I'm Metallica. We're going to see how this ends.
Okay.
You might go to prison.
Okay. What did he say?
What is the Nick Bobic?
It's a 60s song. The name game. Nick Bobic. Banana Bofic. Me, my Momic. Nick.
Rosanna, Rosanna.
Against the Spread is presented by DraftKings Sports. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Mike.
So, we're post-deadline. We're not a fan of what's going on with the Giants, and they got a bullpen game coming up, and the Texas Rangers I really liked what I saw to Skip Schumacher yesterday. Really rallying the troops with that incredible video. I also like that Mackenzie Gore is on the bump. He's on my fantasy team. He's pretty good. So I'm going to the DraftKings Sports app, now live in the sunshine state of Florida and all the other 49 states. I'm going with Texas Rangers minus 1.5, market price plus 113 on that on the DraftKings Sports app.
Greg, go ahead. Mets at Indians. You couldn't find. You could.
Guardians.
Or Guardians. Oh boy.
Oh,
Sorry.
come on.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
All right, my bad.
Let him do it.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. They were the Indians a long time. Okay. Mets at Cleveland.
Native Indians.
Two low scoring teams. Cleveland, second lowest scoring team in the majors. The Mets suck. They gloriously suck. They're the fourth lowest scoring team. I take the under on 7.5 runs.
Don't say that other one.
I legitimately don't know how you could have done that any worse.
Syracuse,
Yeah, it was
while you're
really
at
bad.
it.
Yeah.
Syracuse, while you're at it.
It
Come on.
was a train wreck.
Syracuse, while
It
you're at
was
it.
really, really bad.
Syracuse,
But the what I'm suggesting, the under on 7.5 with two teams ineffective as they are on offense, that's a sterling suggestion. But presented badly. There's no question about that.
Actually, get me started on the Commanders. Washington Red, come on. Finish the sentence.
I put in the Slack just now, and I wasn't able to govern any of what it is that just happened with Greg Cody, unfortunately, live because we are live. But please, at the end of this segment, I wish for the video team, and this is just a video-only joke, but I wish for the team to put up on the screen the picture of Zaz that his wife has sent me in a betrayal of Zaz from the cruise ship.
I'm excited.
Well, you're going to be unsurprised by what it is that this looks like.
Ooh, let's all guess.
But I still want it at the end of this segment to just be a visual joke that punctuates the end of this segment. Juju is not available. Jeremy will update the polls in a second. Before we do that, though, and before we get to a story that Devontae Adams told on Bussin' with the Boys, Greg Cody has said around here, and I hesitate to go to him based on how this has just started. He has said that something has not been commented on until he comments on it. And he wants to give his opinions on what it is that has happened with Tony Romo. Oof. So, Greg Cody, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it's probably a unpopular opinion. I feel sort of bad for Tony Romo, the idea that he might lose his job over a bad mistake. I think he deserves a second chance. I believe most people do who have an episode like this. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't injure anybody. He's the victim here of his own misstep. And it's I'm not underestimating how bad the misstep is, but the idea that his CBS punishment might not end and he might end up getting fired, I think is harsh. As it is, he's going to lose a lot of millions of dollars over this, and his name has already suffered. I feel sort of bad. I think he deserves a second chance.
As it is, he's going to lose millions of dollars?
I would think he would, yeah.
Well, he'll only lose them if he loses his job. Like, how else do you have him losing the millions of dollars?
Because if he loses his job, the chances of him being hired by another network probably are dimmer.
At least at the same price.
Right.
Yeah. There is growing momentum to an eventual separation there. I saw Andrew Marchand had certain things to say about it.
The only thing here that will cost him his job is how his employers already felt about him. Like, if they were happy with his performance, they will not get out from under that contract. If they're not happy with his performance, they will. Here's one of the things, though, that I do think is interesting around this, because he's going to be able to lawyer his way out of whatever are the most criminal of consequences here. The damage that's being done is the shame in the video that makes him guilty no matter what happens with the lawyers and no matter what's true about the facts. The damage is already done there. The shame of this and that video is embarrassing enough that by itself, the employers may not want to stick by him and have a ready-made excuse to get out from under that contract.
Speaking of shame, I now see the Zaz picture you were talking about.
We'll get to it in a second at the end of the segment, but first, play the story that Davante Adams told about how it is that when he got to the Jets, it almost was an extortion attempt from somebody on his team.
The kid, you know the story about the kid from the Jets, right? You ever hear about that? I told that story.
Which one?
That told me he wanted $1 million for it. So I showed up when I first got to the Jets day one. I came in with my backpack and I'm like, it was the off day Tuesday, so a couple guys were in there. I'm like looking for him. I got $17,000 cash in my backpack, and I'm thinking like this ain't nothing crazy, but like certainly to give up your number as a rookie, like you ain't did shit yet.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was week 6, and I think he played 4 plays at that point. I'm like, you have no attachment to this right now.
Right.
I'll pay for your whole family to get new jerseys, whatever, because they go out and spend their money on it. However many jerseys you need me to buy, I'll do that. And how about $17,000 for the number 17? He said, it's great to have you, big bro. I can't wait to learn from you, but I'm gonna need $1 million. So I went straight to Woody and said, give me 17, bro. And he just took it off of him.
No way.
He went straight to the owner, and they just took his number.
Busting with the boys.
Good for him.
That's $17,000 cash in a duffel bag. That is some funny negotiating right there.
There's a snake in my boot.
Let's
Different
update
Woody.
the polls at Le Batard Show.
Poll, is Joe Mack one of the top 10 catcher names of all time?
Thank you for saying poll in front of that.
Yeah, no reason for that.
51% of the audience says yes.
Jack Ham.
Poll, did the Marlins trade ground beef for ham? 86% of the audience says yes.
Jack Ham.
Poll, are you fine if they tell you you can't eat ham for 2 years? 71.5% of the audience says yes.
Jack Ham.
Poll, should Canadian bacon even call itself bacon? 85% of the audience says no.
Jack Ham.
And finally, poll, is Spam a Rule 5 meat? 69% of the audience says yes.
Jack Ham.
Put up the Zaz photo.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.